This episode of an Unexpected Podcast is brought to you by Reese Fields. Thank you. Hello, friends, and welcome to an Unexpected Podcast. I'm Ez.
And I'm Lane.
And we're talking Tolkien.
We're coming to you from the Shire of America, the beautiful state of Ohio, in a little village called Amanda.
This week, we are shutting our eyes and putting our hands in our pockets as we cover the Palantír as a part of our journey through Middle-earth.
Yeah. Stay away, Ez. Don't let your that toque inside of you wake.
That itch in the hands, right?
Waking up. Yeah, boy.
You know?
Gandalf's got a cure for it.
I don't know, man. Last time I had something like that, I was in Poison Ivy. You know what I'm saying? I was just in there.
What were you going after? A little wiffle ball or something?
Man, we used to go golf ball hunting back in the day.
Well,
back by the creek.
At Dry Creek, you get a bunch of
golf balls.
Driving range over there.
I never buy golf balls. So, man. Yeah, I mean, we'd get in there and it'd be, Poison Ivy all over my hands. Just itching to touch that Palantír.
And it's burning too.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, boy. Wow.
Anyways, friends, yeah, here we go. I mean, this is, what is this? This is the end of...
end of book 3.
Yeah.
We're on to book 4. So we are, guys, let this blow your mind.
Yeah.
In terms of books, we all know, we know Fellowship, Two Towers.
Right.
But Tolkien wrote it as 6 individual books that go together. We're halfway through.
Yeah.
Once we finish right now, we are halfway through this journey to Mount Doom and back again.
That's crazy.
It's kind of wild to think about.
Yeah.
We're getting kind of, introspective. And we're looking back and we're thinking about, it's that time of year. We've said it last few episodes.
Yeah. From
Thanksgiving to New Year's.
Right.
You just reflect a lot. And we've been reflecting a lot on
we have
just our quest so far, our journey with you. And
we're coming up on some special time.
Yes, we are. And it's been brought nothing but smiles to our faces.
I know.
Nothing but good times.
We needed this. I mean, because it's actually been something, you and I have talked about for a couple of weeks. Is like, we've really needed this, I don't know, this anniversary to get here. So It's coming up on us.
Yeah.
All right.
Little business first.
Okay.
All right. Guys, I don't know if you know this, but Christmas is right around the corner. And
this is my favorite.
If you're still Christmas shopping, you're almost out of time. But if you want the best last-minute gift idea you could possibly have, you may still have enough time to get a hold of Travis Sigler, our man, Santa Man, and get a couple coasters crafted up.
That's great.
Okay. In time for Santa to set his milk right on.
You got to hurry, though, man.
You got to hurry. You got to hurry over to weirdleatherandmead.com. That's WYRD, leatherandmead.com. Use the promo code UPWEIRD, UPWYRD. And you get one of these babies for $10 free shipping. All right? Make sure it doesn't get given away. Get one for yourself, too.
That's right.
Some eggnog, a little Tolkien leather. Does it get any better than that? We don't think so.
No.
Is Gandalf a Slim Santa? At least his starry cousin, maybe. Bunch of elves running around.
Hey, maybe.
You never know, guys. You never know. I mean, maybe that's what happened to one of the blue wizards. They became red and they went up north.
Wow, could you imagine?
I can't. Well, wow. I could, but I shouldn't.
Switching we got some feedback on that poll this week.
I liked that, actually. I liked that. We're going to get to that later.
Yeah.
We've been getting a lot of mail, guys. It's a really an awesome thing. We got a little, got a little package in the mail from Ben.
Yep.
Ben sent us a little letter. Came across a bunch of Saruman bookmarks, and 2 for us to keep, and then, 4 or 5 to use as giveaways.
Yeah.
They're in our books right now. He's been using them for his entire read through in the Two Towers, and they're vintage, man. Are they from Half Price Books, I think?
Yeah, these are really cool, though. I mean, this is actually it's just funny that I think he said he got like a handful of these just handed to him, right? Mm-hmm. Or something, or like, and he was trying to time it up just right for, Voice of Saruman, yeah, which is great.
Close enough.
Yeah.
He's not done speaking, unfortunately.
We're going to recap it, so.
Yeah. All right. So, if you want to send anything our way, P.O. Box 96, Amanda, Ohio, 43102.
Send it to the Shire, folks.
Send it to the Shire, friends. That's about it for Table of Contents.
I like it.
On Quick Counsel, my friend.
Yeah. Quick Counsel. My friend, It's not gonna be very quick today.
What you got? That's all right. I like that.
How you doing?
Doing all right, man. Doing all right.
Are you?
Ask me how my teeth are.
Seriously.
Ask me about my teeth.
Okay. Are they okay?
Guys, I don't know.
I don't even believe this. I've been waiting to hear. I actually am glad you didn't forget this because I was.
You were here at me realizing I had this problem, right?
Yeah.
I bit into some pizza and no doggy.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what was going on. Started kind of low, moderate pain.
Right.
Then it sort of built to this intolerable, like, crescendo of ouchiness.
Yep.
And I didn't know what it was. I'd never had a cavity that felt this way. But I asked Sarah, I'm like, you think this is a cavity? Goldberry said, Lane, when she's quiet and I ask a question, I'm like, I'm doomed.
Yeah,
It's not the answer I want. She was like, there was a silence there. You talk about silence, the power of silence. It was there. She goes, might be a cavity, Lane.
Yeah.
I was like, dang it.
Right.
And it started on the top between a couple of the back molars.
Okay. Yeah.
A week later, felt it on the bottom in the same space. A couple days after that, felt it on top of my molar. I was like, this is weird.
Wait.
This is weird.
On the same tooth or up? You talking about the
same side, top and bottom. I was like, is this like a regional cavity?
Oh, that's
What's
bad.
going on? So
a regional.
make an appointment, go in, see my dentist. They are awesome there, by the way. Friendly Dental in Lancaster. This is a pointless plug, but they're just really, really nice. They're really nice. And they always know what they're talking about. So Mrs. McDavid is one of our dentists. It's actually she and her husband. And she's looking at it. She's like, yeah, it looks fine. Looks really good. You have a really beautiful set of teeth. I was like, well, thank you. She says, I don't know really what's going on. It's not a cavity. I was like, oh boy.
Wow. Seriously.
Is that good or is that bad? And I had a feeling in the pit of my stomach. I'm like, that's not a good thing. Right. This should be a cavity.
Yeah.
She goes, so we're going to just kind of look around. Long story short, I'm an aggressive brusher, guys. If you're out there and you're an aggressive brusher, raise your hand. I know there's some of you out there. You know, I always thought that to brush better meant brushing harder.
Nope.
It's not true, guys. And I've tried to stop. I've known for a year now that I need to brush a little lighter. And I thought I was. Wow. But I guess I'm not.
So you're just eroding? What's going on?
I just get in there and I just pound, man.
Jiminy.
Just pound those teeth. I want them clean.
Yeah.
And I guess kind of when I'm idling, when I'm brushing my teeth, you know how you get kind of idle? You stand there for a second.
Yeah.
I guess I'm on that side of my mouth.
Okay.
Scrubbing the outside and the inside of those molars.
Wow.
Worn my gums away, as. Worn my gums away. So essentially what's happened is there's that. I've got the root that's kind of exposed on that side. Sorry, guys, if this is grossing you out. If you got a fear of teeth or something, should have warned you before.
Sorry.
Apologies. Please forgive me. Just skip ahead.
You're already vomiting, so it's okay.
It is kind of gross. But also, I clench my teeth, right?
Yeah.
For good reasons and for bad reasons and for good reasons.
Yeah.
I get really stressed out and I get angry, clench my teeth. I figure it's better than saying something I'm going to regret. Good reasons. I suffer from extreme acute aggression, man. Yeah. Squeeze fits. You know what squeeze fits are? Yep. Spontaneous cute aggression, where something's so cute that you just have a squeeze fit. Guess who does that to me every time?
Winnie.
Little Winnie.
Yep.
And I didn't realize until after it, because I was holding her and she did something cute and I just had a little squeeze fit and I went, oh. So that's also why I'm clenching my teeth.
Part of it, yeah.
So what I've done from clenching my teeth, not only have I worn away my gums,
yeah,
gonna look like Grima out there, freaking just Gollum. I'll look like Gollum.
Yeah.
But I've also sprained my teeth, Ezra.
What's that mean?
I've sprained my teeth. Where the tooth itself and the root comes together is a joint. And I've clenched so dang hard that I've sprained my teeth.
So it's like twisted or something?
Just like you can do with your ankle, friend.
Twist your
It's just too much pressure and it's sore, I guess.
Wow. So did you tell me all of this? So
you ever seen LeBron James flop?
Yeah.
One of those times it was a sprained tooth. Oh, no.
I got
I'm
you.
just kidding. It wasn't.
No, okay.
That'd sound cool.
It sounds like what you need is, are you asking me for a gum transplant?
I mean,
would
that affect the way I talk?
I don't know.
What
if you started to sound like me?
Can you imagine? That'd be hilarious.
Like Lane has some of my gum in his
Yeah, I'll support him. I gave him half my gums.
That's hilarious.
So I don't know. Yeah, you brought that up. I didn't know that's possible. They told me once my gums are gone, they're gone.
Right. Yeah, I think you need a second opinion.
No, I think they're right on.
No,
here's
I think
my PSA.
You can transplant some of your gum down
I don't
in
want
there.
to. I don't want to do that.
Graft it in.
I don't want some dark red on top of pink. There's a shading element to that.
No.
Not that it matters. But here's a PSA, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Don't brush so hard.
Yeah. You know, it's more important.
Harder's not better.
It's more important to floss, my friend.
I floss.
That's where them cavities form, man.
Well, I don't have any cavities.
Yeah,
I don't have any gums either.
You don't have any gums either. So, good grief, man.
So anyway, yeah. How are you doing?
Well, my teeth are not hurting.
They're in good shape
right now.
That's good.
Because I don't brush them at all. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just totally kidding.
Is that true?
No, I brush every morning and every night. Okay.
Okay.
Just lightly though. And I floss.
Yeah.
But no, I'm doing well. Getting ready for the holidays and all that good stuff. Yeah. So I don't really know. Things have really kind of thankfully slowed down a little bit for me, which is good.
Your life is like
getting caught up on some podcasting stuff, different things. Yeah. But I don't know. Starting to get ahead a little bit.
The keel has sort of evened, right? Yeah. You're Lake Placid right now. I see it.
Yeah.
I see it all the time, man.
Right.
I just look at you and I'm like, man, dude.
What's going on? Yeah.
It's just a thin line of peacefulness.
It's great.
It's good. It is a good thing.
It's great. Yeah. So,
but anyways, you want to go over our schedule?
Yes, I do actually. So end of the December schedule here. So on, let's see here.
It's kind of well timed.
It is
with this little break because moving forward, we're actually moving back. We're going back in time here.
Right.
You know what I mean? From from this chapter to the next, we're jumping back a bit. So
yeah, exactly. So you guys will be listening to this episode will come out on the 16th, and then after that, the following week, we are technically going to be off with the reread, but we will release a special sort of best of the fellowship episode. That I have been working on here, and so now that I've said it, I kind of have to do it. So, which is great. So, it'll force me to kind of finish. There's just so much. I sometimes the clips are too long, and I've got to shorten it.
You talked about doing a part 1 and a part 2. Or a book 1 and a book 2.
I might have to do that.
I think that's smart.
Just because there's so much. And we've got some good feedback on the group,
Yes.
Had a really good conversation with our Discord folks and, our patrons. And we're getting some feedback from them on that episode. I want it to be good. I want it to be kind of, fun and lighthearted. So if we're going to take that off, that'll just give me some time to edit. And I'll try to get that up for you guys. Yep. And then we will be back on Sunday, December 30th with the Taming of Smeagol. So we'll do that. And then Thursday, January 3rd, we have a special episode. A very special episode, my friend.
Very special episode.
Yeah. So,
and then we'll be back at it on that. Well, you'll get kind of a bonus because you'll get that Thursday episode, and then the Sunday following will be Passage of the Marshes. We'll be right back into it. So
right, and then January we'll just kind of continue with the reread. And go from there. So and we got some more fun things coming up in January. A little. Road trip and different things we've got planned. So
going down to Rohan.
Really excited. We also have a lot of appendices stuff coming up over Christmas break.
More travel pod coming.
Yeah,
we'll be back up and going. So
absolutely, we'll record with our patrons and what have you.
Yeah.
So,
I just wanted to do a real quick shout out to some other podcasts that are actually run by some of our uppers, which is really cool. So I think about the holidays. You might have some downtime. You might have some extra off time. You might also have some just empty slots in your podcast rotation. I know we all have them. We all have podcast rotations.
Yeah.
We got our,
we know
top
that
5. Right. Got our top 5 we listen to. But if you got an empty slot, maybe one's just not hitting it, or they're on a hiatus, or, you need to slip an extra one in now and again. We've got you covered. We got a quick list real quick here for you. Sci-Fi Shenanigans podcast.
Yeah.
That is run by our buddy J.R. Hanley. You've probably seen him post stuff to the group, and in the on Facebook. He's really, really active. He and his buddy Chris do. It's like a sci-fi show. They have on authors. They talk about their own works. They actually interviewed us.
They did.
They did.
Yeah.
It's secret, lost footage. It'll never be found. We might get back on
the
there
Lost
again.
Tales.
The Lost Tales. But really, really entertaining. They're very energetic, exciting guys. Love listening to them. Go check that out, especially if you're into sci-fi stuff. They love, what do they call it? The trilogy, or the Trinity?
The Trinity.
It's Star Wars, Star Trek, or
Firefly.
Yep, that's right. I always want to say Flywheel. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Another one, a podcast our good buddy Chase McKinney has started. It's called the Reframed Podcast. Chase from being in the group, and then also his Dropping Eve's news segments that we've been able to shoot out to him every once in a while, and we go down to checking in the land of Floridor.
Yep.
But Reframed is really cool. It's man, so he's into mental health, and really what this is he'll take a concept or an idea or a movie or a story or a video game, and he will just talk it out, man. He'll put his own spin on it. He'll make connections to his life. He'll make connections to shared experiences.
Right.
I was listening to it today, actually. He was talking about Home Alone, and the way he is. I won't spoil anything, but the way he's able to draw stuff from like a movie as just it's a holiday fun movie from Home Alone to deeper psychological levels.
Yeah,
it's beautiful. You got to go check it out. It's really, really good. Another one is the Vegan Next Door podcast by Marissa. If you're interested in becoming a vegan, if you want to learn more about vegans, she also does really cool PETA stuff and animal protections, which I love that. I'm all about that. And remember, Barron was a vegan for a while.
Yeah.
He would not eat the animals. They became his friends. So,
right.
So check that out. That's really, really cool. She does a lot of activism stuff too, which is neat. So go check that out. It's a really good listen. The Bindings and Bookmarks podcast.
That's a cool name.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's really good.
Yeah.
And this is James Aquilina. He's an upper. He does this with his buddy Jared. And they're working their way through Harry Potter right now. And it's the same kind of thing. It's like a book club. They're starting book clubs, and they're going to go through different books. I think maybe they're doing Harry Potter now. They might have jump to other genres, other books, but it's really cool. Their friendship kind of shines through it. They've got good passion. Love what they're doing. Really, really good.
That's cool.
Another one is called Snacks Cast. This is a newer one. It's on SoundCloud right now, but it's Sean Snacks Lindersmith, and he does kind of like stories from around the rugby world.
Okay.
And he actually had me on
this is
last
the one
week.
I wasn't sure what that was.
Yeah, he had me on last week, and it was really, really cool. He interviews people from all over in different walks of life from rugby, and they just tell their stories, and it's cool. He's connecting these. He's just an incredible guy. I had a lot of fun talking to him and getting to know him, and I feel like I found another friend for life. And then, of course, we got to throw Rebel Watch in there, my friend.
Well, yeah, I thought I was hoping you would point out the cast that you had done the other day with is it called Snacks Cast?
Snacks Cast.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I honestly I was like, what is that related? I was like, is there food involved? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. But yeah, so I was here watching you, kind of record that, and you're passionate about it. It was a great. Hopefully, we can find that episode, and you guys can listen to Lane there. But then, if you're interested in other fandoms, I've got a couple to choose from. But Rebel Watch is fired up right now, man.
Bend the knee. So
Bend the knee, as well. Yeah. So if you're interested in those, if you
rotation, can't get enough of Ezra's voice.
Well, hey, and here's the thing: we got some funny episodes there with Lane and on Rebel Watch, and we might have him back on for a couple more. And Goldberry,
yes, that's right. The trivia trials.
His favorite character we discussed in detail.
That's right, man. Yeah, we did. Jaja. And then it's birthday week for Winnie. So Winnie the Sue, happy birthday, baby! My little crotch fruit is turning 1 year old.
That's so awesome.
Pretty amazing. As old as this podcast, which is wild. We've talked about that. Our book club will always be as old as she is. That's wild to think about. And also, the Flannel Wizard, guys.
Yeah.
December 22nd, this young man is turning 31.
Yeah.
So make sure that you
a young 31.
Embarrass him on 12/22. Send him cards. Put stuff on his Facebook page. DM him inappropriate things on his Instagram.
Wow.
Make him
this
feel
is
good.
Going far.
Happy birthday, brother. I love you, man.
Hey. Thanks,
I hope
man.
that your birthday, I won't be able to spend your birthday with you, but I hope that it's amazing. And, I like to think that every time we're together, we celebrate your birthday.
Well, hey, man.
You think that's true?
Man. Yeah, no, but.
Okay.
Wow. No, I'm kidding.
Then I won't try as hard.
You guys always make me feel welcome and awesome here. So I appreciate it. And I love that Winnie and I have this,
same week.
Like
that's
the same
cool.
week. We share a week,
Share a week, man.
And
she lit up as soon as you came in today. You were afraid you were going to miss her tonight because it was kind of later.
Yeah.
You had your holiday party.
Right.
And she just wanted to be with you the whole time.
She came right up. She's walking right up.
Walking
and I
around.
was like,
that's what she does. She takes your hand and walks with you now.
Yeah. She was like, come with me. I'm going to take you into the other room there. I was like,
she's got Grandma's voice now.
Yeah, I was like, what is going on? Your daddy has been using that voice a little too much, young lady. I mean,
Oh, it's funny. Wow.
just torturing your mama. Anyways,
Anything else, man?
No,
How was your holiday party today? Was it good?
it was good. It was wild.
Yeah.
It was a little wild. We got a little
Get
carried
some
away.
bird dogging.
We might have got a little bit of that in us. We had a couple of different drinks. It was fantastic. So I love the holidays. Just good time to kind of good spirits and stuff. So and we were thinking just the last thing here. It's like I have this weird energy right now because I feel like I'm kind of even. Like we're not even. We just gave you the schedule and the special episode that's coming up, and it's like
it's gonna be exciting.
But it's like we're really close to recording that because of when the origins of this podcast sort of, took place.
We tried to pinpoint. Remember the day?
Yeah,
we remember the day, but we don't remember what date it was on. We don't remember why we were together. We pulled Goldberry over because we were talking about this in Discord. We called her down. I was like, Sarah, come help us remember this detail. She came down and she's like, I don't remember why we were together.
Well,
and we thought it was funny that like maybe you were just over for dinner because back then that's kind of what we would do.
Yeah, right.
There was no other plan. It was just, hey, come over for dinner.
It's hard to fathom that would be the reason I was coming over.
Right?
I was like,
how weird was it when we were at Bobby's birthday party the other day? I was like, we need to go record. No.
Oh, no. It's Bobby's
birthday. We're just hanging out.
Hold on. I saw Ez. I freaked out. No. You know what we could do? And I just thought about this. I am one of those weird people. I save every single message. I never delete them. And you can actually go back really
you
far,
would have
over a year.
Major scrolling to do.
Oh, I would have some major between you and I. I know. But I think I could do it. And my phone might shut down, but I might try to go back and try to find the exact date, my friend. So now that we're thinking about it,
I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. So
we could be our anniversary. So, anyways,
all right.
Want to drop some memes?
Yeah, let's do it.
We actually have some really cool, some really cool stuff to talk about. A couple of main points, anyway. So now it seems like PJ might be involved in this show. He's going back and forth. He's waffling. I don't really think it's as serious as some of these articles you've seen pop up are maybe trying to convey. I think again, it's trying to keep the show talked about. In the news feed. It's also because he's pushing a couple movies right now. They Shall Not Grow Old, his World War I documentary, and Mortal Engines. So he's out doing all these press tours and premieres and stuff. And so they're naturally saying, hey, you're going to be involved in the show? You want to go back to Middle Earth? So there's an article in Winter is Coming, which is like actually it's a Game of Thrones fan-sided website. So I just found it there. A couple of main points I'll just go ahead and read. Jackson waffled back and forth on whether he was involved at all in the show. His latest word on the subject came from an interview with French outlet Allociné. I'm not involved at all with the Lord of the Rings series, he said. I understand my name can be quoted, but nothing is happening with me on this project. Seems pretty clear, right? Or maybe not. Speaking to Metro alongside longtime screenwriting partner Philippa Boyens, she worked on Lord of the Rings. She and his life partner Fran Walsh, they all wrote that together. Jackson sung a slightly different tune. I don't have thoughts on the Amazon series because I haven't seen anything. I think they're going to send us some scripts to see if we can help them along. I wish them all the best, and if we can help them, we certainly will try. It's a big task. So help them along. Kind of ambiguous. I mean, like, would they send them the script and they'd go, oh, I like the direction you're going in, or, oh, hey, we can help build this stuff for you, or, oh, you could film this here. So he's leaving it kind of open-ended. It almost sounds like an invitation, really, from Peter Jackson. Like, if you guys want to send it my way, because I'm the Godfather.
Can I tell you, though?
Go ahead. Yes.
I feel like the only thing that they would need from him, if you're going to seek out his guidance, would be if you are looking at, like, I guess, the nature of one of his characters, or if you look at, like, the building or the build for the characters that he worked with. You know what I mean?
I think that's a great point.
So if the series is going to contain some of the characters that he worked on developing and things on the film, then that would be, cool. We could, if we want to make those look similar or feel the same or be connected, even though they might be different actors and stuff, what were some of those directions that you gave to, these other actors?
Yeah.
I don't know that it would be, if they're going with a different time period and everything, and it's going to be all new characters and what have you, I don't know that they need him.
Well, and it's interesting that you bring
They
that
need
point
Weta
up.
more than they need.
Yeah,
You know?
especially because it's interesting when you bring it up. You're talking about the continuity and them wanting this show to feel like they companion with the movies.
Yeah.
Right. Which is that's a good goal because that's what we know. We know Peter Jackson's films, which are masterpieces.
Yeah,
they are. So for the visual element, you're right. They got to go with Weta. But I like what you're bringing up that probably a lot of people haven't thought of. I didn't think of is in terms of a direction, in terms of relating to actors, maybe I don't know how you want the show to be paced, how you want it to look, to even fit in that way too, or at least have echoes of the movies in there. You know what I mean? Some sort of like homages that aren't like insulting to our intelligence.
Yeah,
it just kind of fit. I don't know. That's hard to do because I think he tried to do that with The Hobbit.
Yeah,
and it didn't really work out so much.
Yeah,
I think maybe I like The Hobbit for what it is. I think we all do. Mm-hmm. But there are definitely things that I think overall we were kind of disappointed with. That felt like it was trying to be too Lord of the Ringsy.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of. It's a different story. But
yeah, so
that's a great point.
Well, and again, they might want them to be completely separate. They might not want it to look the continuity to be as. And
I'll tell you what, we put this up there, an article that was kind of like this, and a few of the comments from you guys were like, "Yeah, he's had his go. Let's give it to someone else. Mm-hmm. Let's get some fresh perspective on it." And I agree with that too.
Well, because as we're doing this reread, I look at some of the description for the Uruk-hai and the orcs and things.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily, you could take it a lot of different ways.
Yeah, you could.
And so if you wanted to kind of design a different type of orc or what have you, you could do it.
They were almost like this read through. I was almost envisioning like hills have eyes. Like kind of like mutant dude. Like you know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, I was actually at some points almost even picturing just like dark elves at some points too.
Oh yeah,
just like a darker, distorted, elf. But anyways, I don't know. It really depends on how well if they want to keep that continuity, cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then it comes down to what characters are they using. If they're just looking at like scenery and shots, or even like every time we look at Gandalf, if he's going to be in it, how are we framing the shot? Were there certain things that they did with him that you would want it to kind of keep?
Are visual themes that run through those movies as well as
so
anything else.
Things that I don't always think about when I'm watching a movie, but like I guess
the other thing that's going to get kind of awkward too is if they want to keep that visual element the same, at some point I'm guessing they're going to have to film in New Zealand. That's in his backyard.
Yeah,
you're going to be utilizing people that are part of his production company. I would think, unless you bring a production company to New Zealand.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I almost think it would be interesting too if maybe he had some kind of producer role where he originally intended that role in. Sorry, wow, said that backwards. That role was intended. That was his role for The Hobbit.
There we go.
Right, Guillermo del Toro was slated to direct. And he was just going to produce, and it was going to be more Guillermo's vision.
Right.
So kind of, and we always forget this. Sort of, he inherited that and had to kind of put both together, and that may have also made it kind of weird for PJ himself with the Hobbits. But anyway, maybe give him a producer role. Maybe he could guest direct one episode. A lot of these TV shows, they're not the same director every episode.
It's a TV show,
right?
So we're talking a different beast here,
right?
I don't know.
Yeah. So anyway, wow, those are good. I like those thoughts.
That's good. That's probably
talk about.
That's probably one of the best conversations we've had about the TV series here in a while because there's just not much, and we've been kind of shying away from talking a lot about it until we get more information.
We need to talk to Payne and McKay and see what they're writing.
We really do. If anybody knows them, put some pressure on them.
What do you guys got on the draft? Let's read your draft.
Yeah,
let's figure it out. Is it really about Aragorn?
Do you want if you want to keep this show out there in the ears of Tolkien fans?
Give us something.
Hit us up.
Well, so this was the point made. He was saying, I don't know, we'll help him along. We'll try. It's a big task, all this stuff. We understand obviously why Amazon would want to look for Jackson to guidance, but there's wisdom in what Boyan's Philippa also said right after that. She said, "Fresh eyes on the story is such a good thing to do. So I'm excited to see what they come up with.
Yeah.
So I like their approach too. And I don't think they have ever really been this way. They're not claiming ownership over this. They understand this fan base is huge. They understand that the different perspectives that come into Lord of the Rings, is massive. It's multicultural. It's worldwide. Yeah. So to limit it to one person's vision forever in all of the different formats is kind of silly, and they understand that. They want that diversity. So
I think it'd be awesome to see a shocking, very different, even like you said, visually, story. It also, man, sorry, I'm going to take this a little bit longer,
Let's do it.
but like
this is good.
Even if I think you have to pick and choose here. Like if you decide to go to a different age, I think you would want then it to look the same, to have some continuity. If you keep it around the same time and different things, I think you could maybe it doesn't need to look the same. Some people might say, what's it matter if you're going back to a previous age? I don't know. I just think for understanding purposes, maybe, it might help folks, but maybe not. Maybe you could just also.
I see what you're saying. If you jump to a different time, you'd have to keep some elements the same so we're not totally thrown off.
I don't know. Maybe
because we'll find comfort.
I'm thinking
in that.
about
makes sense.
Oftentimes when I talk about Star Wars, I talk about those your mainstream fans, the folks who don't read all of the other literature, and they just this is what they've seen, and you want those folks. I mean, if you want this to be successful, you want
you got to warm up to the Silmarillion. You got to warm up to it. Some people are drawn to that instantly and they can connect to it, but it's not the majority.
Yeah.
I mean that history stuff, the building of this legend. You're right. So I think we got to even ease our way into that from the visual side. So another little cool tidbit is that Jeremy Soule, he's the dude who's created all the music for Skyrim. He wants to do the music for this Amazon show.
Wow.
Yeah.
He said that?
He has expressed interest in wanting to do the Lord of the Rings show.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And a lot of people are calling for it too.
Are they?
Jeremy Soule himself said, Jeremy Soule plus Amazon's new Middle Earth series equals good idea.
Wow.
More info here.
I mean, it does have,
There's a little poll there. 95% of people said yes. 5% said no.
Yeah.
Still blown away by your response. He says, this is a tweet he wrote. Thanks everyone. I'm doing a little networking on this. I hope I can bring this world to life and music for you. It just depends on factors beyond my control. And so I've listened to a bit of his music. I've never played Skyrim or anything, but I'm familiar with it, and it would be cool. I think it'd be tempting to include Howard Shore again, but I also think like the music needs some fresh eyes too, or some fresh ears, or fresh, pen strokes, I guess, to kind of keep things new. We need a new perspective. So,
well, he hasn't done. I mean, he's done the Elder Scrolls, Skyrim, whole bit. But I mean, is that enough to? I mean, it's good.
It is good.
It's really good music.
We may have used it on this podcast before.
We may have.
As
I mean, I would love to see it. Don't get me wrong. I would love to see it. I'm just like, go for it, Amazon. Pull the trigger. Yeah,
cool, wouldn't it?
That would be really neat. So
yeah. But you're right though. Video game music would be different from a TV show or movies, but video games are so competitive now with that industry too.
And
they're so entertaining.
We could get into a whole discussion on that, because it's like, you get the background, sort of like, I don't know. It's just, there's a lot of timing with some of the, Howard Shore stuff, music, and it's just like, I don't know. I feel like there's a different, who knows? Maybe he has more experience than I realize. I don't know.
No, I understand.
That was shocking to me. I'm glad. I mean, it's cool. I like it.
Yes, me too.
All right.
So in other corners of Middle Earth, we have a couple cool nuggets that you guys. Oh, I'm sorry. The biopic, still no official release date, but that's coming up. Don't worry about it. Like I said, next 4 to 5 months, it'll be out.
We're counting down.
Yes, right. So some awesome goodies. Centauri actually made a really cool post. Put a link in there about Peter Jackson having no plans to release any future like Lucas editions,
special edition,
right? Which a lot of you responded on that. Go check that out. I thought the responses were really good. Ginny Smith said, "My wife, oh my gosh, I cannot read. My wallet gives a sigh of relief." Jason Hattery said, "Thank Eru Iluvatar. I think he did enough in 6 movies." David Coburn said, "This is a shame because he has always said he has hours of unused footage, and alternative scenes such as Arwen at Helm's Deep. It's really interesting. You can actually catch a glimpse of Arwen that's still in the film. There's a shot of Éomer fighting, and the camera does one of those quick shakes, and in the background you see purple-clad Arwen on top of her horse.
Wow.
And extended scenes, etc. In the commentaries, he mentions maybe a 20th anniversary edition or something similar. I prefer him not mess, but I'm always open to more of his work. So it would be kind of interesting. They did record a ton of stuff that they could throw back in, even as just a bunch of bonus footage. Mm-hmm. But I also understand.
Extended?
I mean,
edition.
How extended can you get?
Yeah, hey. We'll find out.
That's right. So great post there. Jason Ross, brought up the question, is The Lord of the Rings a Christmas movie? Mm-hmm. Wife, pick a Christmas movie to watch. Me, Lord of the Rings. Wife,
right.
That's not a Christmas movie. Me, then why does it have elves? Wife, silence. Me, plus Gandalf looks like low-carb Santa.
Wow.
So is it a Christmas? We're always talking about Die Hard. Is Die Hard really a Christmas movie? But, Lord of the Rings. I got to say,
there you go, Jason.
I'm with him. That was great.
I like that.
And then Brittany Kwan has a Would You Rather post she put up there that I want us to take real quick, if that's cool with you.
Okay.
All right. So it's called Would You Rather Lord of the Rings Edition. You're going to tell me which one you would rather do.
I have no idea. Here,
Brunch with Pippin or Beer with Mary?
Beer with Mary.
I'm taking Brunch with Pippin.
Yep, that's fine.
I know what I'm getting. I love Billy.
Okay.
Date Legolas or date Aragorn?
Let me think here.
Think of it as a mandate.
I'm thinking Legolas.
Really?
Yeah, I just think he's
too into himself, man. I'm going with Aragorn. I'm dating Aragorn.
Well, that's okay. For me, it's like, let's keep the talking discussion on you, Legolas.
Wow.
Yeah, my friend.
See, I know Aragorn's going to leave me and go here and there for a while, but I know he's going to stay faithful and he's coming back to me by the end of the day.
Legolas, you talk about yourself, man. Keep going.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm good.
Interesting. Fight Sauron or fight a Balrog?
What?
See, the implication there too is that would you level up after you beat the Balrog?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. I love that meme. The experience points with Gandalf. It's hilarious. Let's see. I don't know. Just because Gandalf did it, I would. The Balrog, man.
Okay, and I'm going with Sauron.
Really?
I would be peeing myself, but I'd like to take him on.
I could go.
Sometimes I feel like I do.
Yeah. I get you.
Yeah. Be a ring bearer or be a companion.
Companion.
I don't want that either. I'm a companion all day long.
Yep.
No, thank you. Enter Moria or the Dead Marshes.
Oh my goodness. That's
dude. Good, isn't it?
That's really good. Moria, because I can't. I mean, the marsh is just. I don't know. No.
The reek of it is with the smell.
Yeah, and the and all the everything. Everything that irritating. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
I think I'm with you. I think I would go into Moria because I'd
be scared out of my mind.
Oh, then the pitch black, the dark.
Jiminy.
Do we have a light source? I mean, that'd be another question I'd want to know.
Yeah, I'd want to know that too before I go in. Could you imagine?
You know what though? I'm afraid of the dark. I'm gonna go with Dead Marshes. I'm going with the Dead Marshes.
Dude,
I'm going with Dead Marshes.
It'd be nuts.
That's the toughest one.
I know. That was the toughest one. I would still go with Moria, but I just would be like, because it's kind of cool.
Can you imagine falling in a hole, though? Just stepping and falling down a hole and being like,
you're done. You're done.
Yeah, but the fall would be terrifying.
Yeah, but I mean, unless you're falling to your death or something, but if you're just getting trapped down there and then you're just, I don't know, Bilbo fell.
That'd be worse.
Bilbo fell and he came across,
Got the ring.
So
was that a good fall? Gandalf or Dumbledore?
Wait, kidding me?
Gandalf.
Brittany, come on.
Well, she didn't actually write this.
Okay, Brittany.
So let's not criticize Brittany.
Brittany, I'm criticizing.
The
person who wrote this, not you.
All right. Lord of the Rings trilogy or the Hobbit trilogy?
Lord of the Rings.
Absolutely.
Although the Hobbit trilogy has grown on me. I've told you
this.
Yes,
it has.
In the past couple months.
Well, Lord of the Rings, hands down.
Yeah.
Keep the One Ring or throw it in Mount Doom?
I would think we got to throw it away.
Throw it away.
Yeah.
Get rid of it. It's not appealing to me. I don't know.
No.
Be an elf or be a human?
Human. Yep.
Can I change back? Because I know what it's like to be a human. I would like to understand elves better. I think I'm going to be an elf.
Okay. All right.
Believe it or not.
That's crazy.
Live in the Shire or live in Rivendell? See, both are appealing to you, aren't they?
What the heck?
I'm living in the Shire. That's a no-brainer for me.
Yeah, Shire too.
Really? It's a hard
Yeah.
decision for you, though, isn't it?
No, it's not as hard as you would think, but like because the Shire is just it's. I would go visit Rivendell.
Okay.
I'd stay for a while.
I like that.
But
and then this one really is the doozy. Date Gollum or date Wormtongue?
oh my goodness, I think I would date. Oh my goodness. Now, I mean, is this like a date? Like, I mean, are we gonna go on multiple dates?
I think you're talking long-term relationship here.
Like, are we on first base, stealing second? What's going on?
I think you're dating with the intention to marry.
Oh
not marry Brandy Buck, but like
goodness.
to matrimony.
Oh my goodness!
I'm just kidding. I don't know what it. Just anyway.
What would you say?
I would date Gollum because I'd try to get to that inner Smeagol. I don't think there's anything redeemable in Grima. There's nothing there.
Man.
Just that voice.
Yeah.
And that would get old. I'd rather hear hear Gollum talking to himself.
Yeah.
That split personality. Cause I'd be like, man, come on, buddy.
That's messed up.
Let's get through this together.
I think though, I don't know, man. I don't know.
It is a lose-lose situation, but
it's terrible.
I see you going for a Gollum.
Me too.
Yeah, you've got that savior complex. You want to try and save him.
But that's why I was sitting there thinking about Wormtongue. I was sort of like, is there something there? But I don't
think
know.
so, man.
Yeah, I don't think so either. So
all right, that's pretty good.
All right,
I
thanks,
have,
Brittany.
I don't know if you can turn my mic up here for this next one.
Sure.
Let me. I'm gonna lead up to it, but then I have to play it through my phone. I apologize. But Jonathan Hipps's son.
Oh yeah.
Made an amazing connection. They were. I don't know. I think they were at the airport.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were at the airport, and the walk. What is it called? The
handrail on the escalator.
Yeah, like the walking escalator. He found a striking resemblance here.
That's awesome.
You got to go check this video out. He made this connection. You
Yeah.
put your hand on that rail and just let it squeak through. It sounds just like a ring wraith.
That's actually
and
great.
This kid's awesome, man. He opens his mouth and even like acts like he's crying like a ring wraith too. Just blew my mind. I was like, that sounds just like it. Okay, so real quick, just some more. We talked about those holiday films coming out for you to check out that have some kind of connection to Middle Earth. They Shall Not Grow Old is going to be playing in select theaters December 17th.
Okay.
And then again on December 27th.
Yeah.
So Ezra Goldberry and I are going on Monday.
Yeah.
The 17th. We're going to go here in Lancaster. We're going to check it out. We might even do a little recording and let you know what we thought about it. The amazing thing about this, man, is so the frame rate used to be like 10, 15 frames per second.
Yeah.
Norm now is 24 frames per second. So that's why those old videos looks like they're moving in fast motion. They're all choppy and everything.
Right.
Like little toys.
Yeah.
They use this technology because they were asking what was the most challenging part. Was it bringing color? And Peter's like, nah, actually that was pretty easy. He said, there's this computer program though that we can go in, put this footage in there, and they guess what those missing frames should be, generate those missing frames, and you're able to see it smooth and in what looks like more like real time.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I didn't even notice it. I saw the trailer and I was like, wow, that's amazing. And I thought about the color. I'm like, how did they get the color back in? I mean, I know they're doing that stuff now, but still, it's amazing. And heard him explain that. I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, that would be a huge challenge. And then I went back and watched it again. I'm like, that is so smooth. And it's just the potential for restoring like first decade film that's out there and making it look more realistic and less visually jarring is pretty amazing. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So we're going to go check that out. That'll be awesome. Also, the Green Book is out. Viggo Mortensen's up for all kinds of awards, man. Golden Globes, Screen Actors Guilds. Will this be the year Viggo wins an Oscar? That's what I want to know.
No.
Couple poll results. After the Orthanc orations, it should be asked, would you like to have seen Saruman come down from Orthanc, humble himself, and return to the light? This was crazy, dude.
This was nuts.
We were split right down the middle. 130 votes. 51% said yes, come back. 49% said no, be gone.
I know.
I did not anticipate it being that close.
What did you vote for?
I think I said no. I don't think I
think
can
I
trust
did
him.
too. I think I said no, be gone.
What do you think about that? That's very interesting.
That's something.
We got
some good people in our group.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We had a bonus poll. We had this wild theory from for last week's episode. 3 wizards went east, only 1 returned. Did Saruman have something to do with the blue wizards' quote unquote disappearance? Mm-hmm. I couldn't believe how many people said yeah. Absolutely. 59% said yes. No way. This is just a weird connection. Where 41% of you answered that way. 148 votes.
Yeah, and I think people in the comments were a little. If you voted no, just no, in the comments there was a little stronger response about just So go read some of those. I mean,
yeah, Tolkien made some implications that I guess the blue wizards went east and started some cults or something like that. I had no idea.
Well, no, I mean but it's right. That was,
or was that the story that Saruman brought back?
Well, and see, I don't know. Like
Tolkien even know? He doesn't even.
He don't even know what he was doing.
Darren Tolkien.
No, but yeah. So there's some good comments in there.
Yeah, great
about
stuff.
that. But I think it's an idea though that hadn't crossed our mind until at least me.
Kind of fun to think about.
Yeah, until you brought it up, and I was like, wow,
fun to think about.
I mean, maybe you did.
We do have. I know I've gone kind of long. We do have another story about Brian Higgins flying a special flag. But we'll just tease that right now, and we'll talk about that later. But anyway, he had a chance to, I don't even know the right term, like christen a flag, kind of, that he's going to send to us. And we're talking about building that studio out there, and it will hang in that studio.
Holy smokes.
And I don't even know if you know the full story yet.
No, I don't.
But it's pretty powerful, guys. So we'll say that for another time when we can give it its due. And we'll jump into the reread.
Yeah, okay, sounds good.
Right, man.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, this is again, we get all this energy, and it's time to pour it into the chapter here.
That's right,
so this is what we love. But the reread, friends. We're into Book 3, Chapter 11, the Palantír. So in a recap, last week Gandalf, we're getting close. We're going into Isengard. We're in Isengard, and we're going up to talk with Saruman. Mm-hmm. And I thought the way this chapter kind of starts off too, the hobbits kind of talk about why they weren't up there, why they weren't invited, right, type of thing, with the whole group, and we had mentioned that a little bit,
Yeah.
And he's warning everybody about the power of Saruman's voice, and just sort of, kind of, I mean, this guy's got his powers, I guess, his wizardry is different, it seems, than what we've seen with Gandalf, and so there's talk that very few in Middle Earth could even resist.
Right.
Sort of his, the voice of Saruman. So, Éomer does a good job. Theoden uses his silence, and he kind of, speaks out against Saruman. And so, it's a powerful chapter there. He starts to kind of turn some of the men, towards his cause, and tries to. First, he goes after Theoden. That doesn't seem to work. Then he goes after Gandalf and tries to persuade him. My favorite part is just Gandalf laughing.
Yeah.
It's just like, which is great. So, but then, he raises his hand and commands Saruman's staff to be broken. He gives him the opportunity to come back into the fold,
a couple times, really.
Right.
Yeah.
And it just does, he's not interested in that. So
it's too big a task for Saruman,
Yeah.
That humility piece goes against his very nature, it seems like.
Yeah, sort of like I forget the exact quote, but it was the idea that like the treacherous people, are always sort of like leery or looking for treachery. You know what I mean? And so he didn't trust that Gandalf could just be this sincere and earnest about
what projection,
forgiving.
Such
exactly.
projection.
Yeah, it is. So, and at the very end, there, Wormtongue actually hurls out this object, a very important object, that I'm pretty sure he probably,
who was he trying to hit?
Who was
Saruman?
He trying to hit? I don't know. Either way, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Do you? Because, in all seriousness, because he's still in there.
Yeah.
He could have just ran out. You know what I mean? What's he going to do? I mean,
which is funny. I think
there's other ways he could try to kill Saruman,
sure,
I guess, if he wanted to. So.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But, and then, I don't know, he heaves that out, and it's a big loss for Saruman.
Yeah, thinks he's doing something, in defense of his new master.
Yeah.
And he ends up getting a beating for it.
I mean, it's actually a big...
you just threw out?
It's a big... It's a game changer, actually.
It's the reason Saruman went to Orthanc in the first place.
Yeah.
because he heard rumors that this was, it was still there.
Yeah, you could not have thrown a more important, thing out the window.
And Gandalf says that if we had time to, search the,
So,
Crazy.
so there's that. So this week, in summary, as Gandalf and Theoden retreat from Isengard, the wizard carries Merry with him on Shadowfax. And this is kind of neat, right? Merry gets to ride on Shadowfax at first, and then Pippin's going to ride later. Merry and Gandalf, they get to chat a little bit, and each of them are trying to learn a little bit more about, Gandalf, which I thought was kind of cool, is that, like, they're trying to learn, they know Gandalf the Grey, and this is Gandalf the White, and so... they're both trying to kind of learn, more about him. So Merry is trying to also convince, once they get set up there in their camp, he's trying to convince Pippin to go to sleep. But remember, Pippin touched the Palantir, right? His hands were just itching. They've been itching afterwards to get another feel on that globe.
And I want to talk about that later. I want your opinion on whether that was an itch from the inside or an itch from the outside.
Wow.
An itch that came from the Palantir or an itch that came from Pippin himself. We'll talk about that later. I want your theory on that.
All right. Okay, cool. So Merry, ends up falling asleep. Pippin can't. He's just burning there, and so he goes. And I mean, something I want to talk to you about, my friend, if we're doing this, is the nature, the ability of hobbits to sneak and to go unnoticed, and
pretty amazing.
Burglars, my friend.
Yes.
They're burglars.
Gandalf is Smaug.
Absolutely, he's Smaug.
Oh my gosh, I didn't make that
the
connection,
Arkenstone,
bro.
Man, it's the Arkenstone. It's
be gone, man. This is beautiful.
Yeah. So I don't know. It kind of reminded me of that. I'm like, man, he is. I mean,
didn't even think about that. That's true.
I've always looked for the way in which that the hobbits. What power is it? What skill or what is it that they possess that gives them sort of some edge, and here it is, even though everyone's sleeping, he's still, able to, I think at one point Gandalf says if they wanted to kind of pass unnoticed, they can.
Oh yeah.
So anyway,
we've seen him do it, leaving the Shire.
Absolutely. Yeah. So he's able to get his hands on the Palantir, and we'll kind of continue. We'll kind of leave it right there, and then pick up the end here at the once we get into the reread. So there we go. Just a quick little summary. We've got some awesome photos. Hopefully you guys can post some of these, some of your favorite photos of the different Palantir or Palantiri, in the group, because there's some cool looking globes, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
they are.
So, all right, my friend, let's dive into this. You're a little under the weather.
Let's do it. Sorry, got kind of a scratchy throat going on.
What's going on with you, man?
I don't know. I was talking in class today. I'm like, my voice is doomed.
I need you to eat
it. It was gargly.
Get that elderberry in your system, all right?
I need some butterbur.
You need some. Yes,
you do. Take some butterbur from the old pharmacy,
apparently,
right?
Yeah. Okay, so
was it Nicole who posted that?
That was hilarious, actually.
It is a plan.
I didn't know it was a thing.
Yeah.
All right, so as we said they're once they kind of the staff is broken and we move on here. Pippin at the very end there, again, I have to reemphasize that he did touch the Palantir, right? And that is sort of that's the whole reason that we have this chapter.
Yeah,
it's thrown out and Pippin touches it.
Yeah,
So
and what Gandalf,
how different things would have been if he doesn't touch it. It's just it's
oh yeah,
right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Gandalf even talks about that.
Yes, he does.
Almost can't be mad at him.
Strangely fortunate.
Yeah, strangely fortunate.
Is that's a good name for a podcast.
It actually is, wow. Did you just try that on me? Anyways.
Should have done it.
You should have pulled the trigger next time. Don't be a coward.
Call me a coward.
I'm just joking. Don't do it. So anyway, there's this bit though when we're leaving that they have to leave the Ents. Correct? And that is sort of difficult for Merry and Pippin.
Yeah.
Right?
Is.
And I think it's just because they've had this, friendship with them.
Big
correct?
Bond. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So the Ents in a solemn row stood like statues at the gate with their long arms uplifted, but they made no sound.
Yeah.
Merry and Pippin looked back. When they had passed some way down the winding road, sunlight was still shining in the sky, but long shadows reached over Isengard. Gray ruins falling into darkness. So,
almost like they got so hasty. They need a good rest now. They really need it. Isn't that how they sleep too? They put their arms up.
Yeah.
Didn't Treebeard kind of show us that? So
yeah,
I'm sure they're exhausted from
right
destroying Isengard.
Yeah. So, Treebeard's just kind of standing there by himself, right? And the hobbits thought back on their first meeting, right upon the sunny ledge far away on the borders of Fangorn.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just kind of reminiscing, and I think that's something, Pippin. What's interesting is in this chapter they talk about how the hobbits can quickly move on from a setback.
Yeah.
But
very resilient.
Yeah,
right?
Right. But they're also very thoughtful, and things will stick with them for a long time too, and they'll dwell on things.
It's an interesting pairing, isn't it?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Because this was a happy memory. This is like the meeting of Treebeard and looking into his eyes. Those globes, right?
Right.
I don't know. That's something that kind of sticks with Pippin for a long time.
It is.
So.
Yeah, it is. Years later.
Yeah. But anyways, Gandalf says, he's talking to Merry and mentions that that they have to ride far. And actually, Merry is the one asking, how far are we riding?
Yeah.
Right? And talks about the ragtag.
Small ragtag dangling behind you. Yep.
I thought that was funny. So he wants to know, basically. Now, is this the bit? This is the bit where Pippin's kind of, Merry is kind of. They're both asking him about like, are they the ragtag? Right? Is that sort of,
yeah, isn't that Saruman's words were kind of pointed at them?
Yeah, let me just read some of this here. So Gandalf says, let me see here. Let me go back a little bit. Are we riding far tonight, Gandalf? Merry asked after a while. I don't know how you feel with small ragtag dangling behind you, but the ragtag is tired, and we will be glad to stop dangling and lie down.
Right.
And so, yeah, he's a little offended, right? I mean, he's bringing this to Gandalf's attention, and Gandalf says, so you heard that, which is interesting because
they weren't right up there.
Yeah, where were they? Well, they're they weren't supposed to be at certain councils, and they're at certain councils. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he says, "Don't let that rankle. Be thankful. No longer words were aimed at you.
Right.
He had his eyes on you. If that is any comfort to your pride, I should say that at the moment, you and Pippin are more in his thoughts than all the rest of us. So who you are, how you came there, and why." What you know, whether you were captured, and if so, how you escaped when all the orcs perished. It is with those little riddles that the great mind of Saruman is troubled.
Yeah.
So there's that. He's kind of saying that, like, I think it's part of the reason too why they didn't get that formal invite to kind of walk up, or
Yeah.
I mean, they did kind of dismiss themselves, but at the same time, they weren't encouraged by any means to walk up and talk to Saruman.
Right.
So because he's fascinated. I mean, his whole pursuit here has been to
capture them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To get the hobbits.
And it's ironic that they're the ones who end up bringing his doom and his destruction.
Well, and here's the question: Does he know any more than anyone else as to which hobbit has what, or what they carry, or It's
a great question. I don't think so.
I almost wonder if he didn't sense or realize at some point that the ring was not near.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like he would have tried a little harder, or he would have done something more.
Yeah, because he was hell bent on it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't he? Yeah.
No, it's just my thought, because
it's a great question. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he doesn't know. That's why he just says one of the halflings,
right,
is kind of carrying something of great value.
And actually, that secrecy and that ambiguity we learn later in this chapter is. At one point you have Aragorn saying, now is the time to reveal everything. And Gandalf says, not quite yet. We have a little bit longer. We need to milk this as long as we can. Mm-hmm. And that's also part of it too. Like, if he doesn't know which hobbits, Sauron didn't even know. Well, we get to that in a little bit. Yeah. But just the not knowing exactly what's going on the side of light is as much an ally as anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's really their biggest strength.
Yep, secrecy, man.
Yep.
Keep it secret.
Keep it safe. That's right.
So,
isn't actually by keeping it secret, you keep it safe too.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Gandalf tries to let Merry know, though, that like, if you're getting sneered at by Saruman, it's a good thing. It's a compliment. You're doing okay, and so he says, well, thank you. But it is a great honor to dangle at your tail, Gandalf. For one thing, in that position, one has a chance of putting a question a second time.
Yeah.
Are we riding far tonight? That was the first question that he asked. So Gandalf laughs, though. And I think what's neat is that Merry and Pippin both kind of talk about the nature of Gandalf and how he is increased and he's more. There, some of them is the same. In some ways, he's jollier, and he's what's the word they use? I can't remember what it is, but he's happier, almost like more jovial. And then at other times, he's more solemn and serene. It's almost like maybe as the gray, those you didn't have those two extremes. Maybe I guess is the way I felt.
It's a good way to put it. Merrier and more solemn than before.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
So. So anyways, and Gandalf, as he's laughing, right, he talks about most unquenchable hobbit. All wizards should have a hobbit or two in their care to teach them the meaning of the word or to correct them. Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool. He says, I beg your pardon, but I have given thought even to these little simple matters. We ride for a few hours gently until we come to the end of the valley. Tomorrow we must ride faster. Yeah. And so they're making their way back. It's him, Theoden. It's the whole crew heading back to Edoras, right? Mm-hmm. Isn't that where they're headed? Mm-hmm. And up until we have the incident, really, their plans are just kind of to regroup for a little bit, right? They're going to go back there to regroup. Yep. It's Pippin's actions that actually accelerate everything, don't they? Yeah. Yeah. In a large way.
Yeah. Big time. Big time.
Yeah. So. The rest of this, I don't know. Did you have anything underlined on this next couple paragraphs?
No, I thought it was funny. He said, one of Merry's lines, he said, nothing or a double helping is your way. It's almost like Gandalf explained too much. He said, I just wanted to know about tonight. He was talking about messengers going ahead to Helm's Deep and then getting the men from Dunharrow. And he was like, that's too much information. I didn't really want that. And then just him saying, I'll tackle Strider by the campfire. He's less testy. Right. Just funny. Like he hasn't changed, but you have.
It's interesting how they all are always trying to get more information out of each other. Yeah. And so, even Strider, Aragorn kind of talks about Gandalf speaking in riddles or speaking to himself or what have you. And so
they have a lot to catch up on too because they haven't been around each other.
I also feel like sometimes Gandalf seemingly gives, I don't know,
different information to different people.
Yes, that, and also just the way that he speaks to the hobbits seems a little bit simpler and straightforward than it does with Aragorn and Legolas and Gimli. It often seems like he's talking to them in a more sophisticated way or a way that I don't know, more complex. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it
alluding
just
to
feels
things that may motivate them to do other things. Yeah. So that's true. That's very true.
So anyways, so we move on here a bit, and we get to the campsite really where they're going to kind of set up camp here, correct? So the road kind of passes on by slowly. Yep. The mist were all gone. A chill wind blew, right?
I love these descriptions of where they are.
Yeah,
it's just beautiful.
The moon now waxing round filled the eastern sky with a pale cold sheen. The shoulders of the mountains to their right sloped down to bare hills. So he starts to just describe the countryside a little bit, and it takes you back to
it's gorgeous
to the beginning of kind of fellowship and just all of the descriptions here. So let's see.
Talking about the buds, I love the line. Buds were swelling at each twig's tip. You get that idea that spring is, obviously we talked about it a little bit before, but spring is on its way, and that parallel too of new life coming, tide turning, winter ending and spring coming. It's reflected like almost in every aspect of the story, from gray to white, from ranger to king. It's crazy, dude. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't really say exactly. I'm trying to look exactly as to where they're at.
I think they're just kind of, it was just a good spot.
Like an in-between, right? I mean.
Yeah.
All right. I was trying to find like a name here if I could, but I really don't see one. So anyways, as they're kind of setting up camp there, they've got the guards are out and about. The hobbits are laying in the corner by themselves, right? And Merry's sleepy, but Pippin is not.
I can relate, Pippin.
Yeah. He's curiously reckless, right? He's like you. He can't get to sleep.
Online shopping in the middle of the night.
Jiminy Christmas. Man, I got a text from you a couple nights ago, and I was like, what is Lane doing up this late, man?
Sometimes I just can't turn it off, man.
Jiminy Christmas.
It's like Pippin.
Yeah. Well, and what did you do? You went and reached for your Palantír, and you hit me up, seeing far.
I know.
Right?
I know.
Crazy.
What a crazy connection.
Next time, FaceTime me.
And also,
It'll
like,
be more like the Palantir.
well, yeah. Well, I'm thinking about these Palantir. It's almost kind of like, man, it's like if Verizon were only known to like 20 people in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, like if cell phone technology was around, that's a strange comparison. But really, you think about how our phones connect us instantly, you know, from various points in the world.
I'm going to make a really weird reference here.
Let's hear it. I see you smirking. What's going on?
Well, back in the day, and that you guys can, this is a gift.
Radios.
This is my early Christmas gift to you guys. Just kind of speaking of the Palantir and that idea that you just mentioned, like, what if only a few people in the world had access to a communication device like that? Go look up, I think it's an Australian TV show called Spellbinders. Okay? That is Spellbinders.
This conspiracy theory stuff?
It's on YouTube. I think you can watch it for free. It is absolutely amazing, and they are really cool. Do yourself a favor. Merry Christmas. You're welcome. Let me know how it goes. I watched it. I was dedicated. I was a dedicated fan growing up. But they had these stones, these like rune stones that powered their vessels, and these special stones that helped them communicate, which was really cool. So, anyways,
interesting. Some
side
inspiration
note
from
there.
Tolkien, maybe.
Merry Christmas. All right.
Merry Christmas.
So now, Pippin is anxious. Merry tries his best, doesn't he, to kind of like,
Oh yeah.
Help him get comfortable a little bit.
Yeah,
right?
he is. Well, he first he talks about Gandalf, right? Well, first he's saying, "What's the matter? You're laying on an anthill."
Yeah.
He says, "No, I'm not comfortable. I wonder how long it was since I slept in a bed."
There
Mary
it is.
yawned. "Work it out on your fingers, but you must know how long it is since we left Lorien." "Oh, that," said Pippin. "I mean a real bed in a bedroom." "Well, Rivendell then." "But I could sleep anywhere tonight." Yeah, Mary is on the verge of sleep. You know the other thing too, that I can relate to with Pippin is when you're not tired and your buddies, just fighting to stay awake. That is the most annoying thing in the world, and it irks you even more.
Yeah.
So Pippin's just being irked even more. Mary, he's trying to stay awake, wondering what's wrong with him, why he can't fall asleep, and then he's just on the verge of sleep himself, and it's just
That literally sounds like you and I after podcasting.
yeah, pretty much. Hey, let's watch something, dude.
It's like 3 o'clock in the morning, and Lane's like, "What are you tired?
Get amped.
You tired or something? What's
Right.
up with you?"
So then Pippin, he kind of wants to know more about Gandalf. Yeah. Speaking softly, he says, "You're riding with Gandalf. You had the luck of riding with him. Well, what of it? Did you get any news, any information out of him?" "Yeah, a good deal, more than usual. But you heard most of it. You were close by. We were not talking in secrets. But you can go with him tomorrow if you think you can get more out of him, and if he'll have you." "Can I? Good." So you see this like excitement in Pippin. He's like, "All right, cool." But he's close, isn't he? Not changed at all? "Oh, yes, he is," said Mary, waking up a little bit and beginning to wonder what was bothering his companion. "He has grown or something. He can be both kinder and more alarming, merrier and more solemn than before, I think. He has changed." Just really interesting to think about that, too.
Can I ask you a question? Why I think we know the answer, but why is Pippin putting Merry to the question like this? His hands are itching.
Big time.
Right, and I think so. He's gotten in mischief before, and Gandalf tells him later that what he does here is very mischievous, right? So before, stealing some fireworks and lighting those off and things like that, he knows how Gandalf dealt with him before. Is it going to be the same way, or has he changed?
Right.
Is there more?
That's a good point.
You know
He's
what I'm saying?
gauging his punishment.
Well,
he knows what he's going to do.
Well, because he also compares him again here to Saruman. He says, well, he and Saruman are kind of, alike. Same order. You know what I mean? So there's that. I don't know. But, and then so that gets us right into where Pippin, kind of says...
starts asking more directly about
the glass ball.
Yeah.
As he calls it. He says that Gandalf seemed mighty pleased with it. He knows or guesses something about it, but does not tell us what. No, not a word. Yet I picked it up, and I saved it.
He starts kind of talking to himself here,
Yeah.
too.
From rolling into a pool. Yeah.
Starts trailing off, and it's very... it's like, how we come to know that like Gollum kind of trailing off to himself. Kind of like how Boromir was.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah, because he's
consumed
recounting.
by it.
He's recounting at first, right, like what Gandalf said to him. Here, lad, I'll take that. And then
Mary's starting to get concerned here, though. He's like, "What is bothering you?"
Yeah,
and he says, "Don't forget Gildor's saying, do not meddle in the affairs of wizards, for they are subtle and quick to anger." So he's getting like, "Dude, just leave it, man. Leave it. Get over it. It's not one of our affairs. It's up to the wizard. Let it go."
Mary, they both have good points. I mean, that's again, get back to Gildor's advice. That's
Gildor and Glorian coming back.
Right. Well, and that's important to bring up. But then Pippin makes the case that like we've been meddling in their affairs for months now. We're in this game.
Yep.
Why don't we know more about this stuff?
And if you go back to Bilbo,
yeah,
it's been decades.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yes, it's all been kind of Gandalf's so connected to.
That's right.
To everything, and I actually understand Pippin's wanting to know more and wanting
absolutely.
to. Yeah, and again, I also understand why Gandalf doesn't tell them everything that he knows and doesn't really explain everything that's going to happen.
Does he ever?
No.
Yeah.
No. But it's I don't know. There's wisdom in both, I guess.
Sure.
Like seeking that information, that knowledge, and then also possibly withholding it or giving it at the right time. You know what I mean? So.
And in the end, it's good that he doesn't give them all the information because maybe they wouldn't have. Maybe what happened wouldn't have happened.
Well, and that
needed to happen.
That's actually the debate that Pippin has with him later, right? Is that like, well, if you would have told me about what this thing
if
was,
all seven were laying out there, I would have put my hands in my pockets, closed my eyes.
Now,
sure,
right, yeah, but because Gandalf says, you knew what you did was wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, you knew that. You even tried to tell yourself that.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, that's right.
So, see here. Go to sleep, Mary said.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get information enough sooner or later, my dear Pippin. No took ever beat a brandy buck for inquisitiveness, which is just the ever going.
Yeah. Which is queer, a took or a brandy buck.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But he says, all right, all right. What's the harm in my telling you what I should like? A look at that stone. I know I can't have it with old Gandalf sitting on it, like a hen on an egg. But it doesn't help much to get no more from you than you can't have it, so go to sleep. Yeah. I mean, it's not nothing that Mary's saying is.
And this is classic, like when you want to do something wrong, and you're going for your. I mean, dude, we've had experiences like this.
We've been there.
And you're talking to your friend, and you're wanting them to kind of justify it for you.
Are you about to pull out some stories from the old?
I'm not. No, I'm not.
Okay,
no,
good.
I'm not bringing anything out. But I'm just thinking, like,
because Goldberry will wake up right, now.
No, you got a friend coming to you and saying, like, "Hey, man, I know I should, but I'm really,
Yeah, and you want that
your friend
person
to be like, "Oh, that's okay. Yeah, go for it. Why don't you go get that? I'll go with you.
Give you all the reasons as to why you should go get that.
Right. Yeah. I'll go with you myself.
I'll stand guard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll pull it out and hand it right to you. Let's go. Let's do it together.
You do deserve that information.
That's right.
Yeah. Matter of fact, my fingers are starting to itch too.
That's right. That glass ball's meant for you, my friend. Yeah. For us. So it's just kind of frustrating because he knows it's further validation that what he's going to do is wrong, and there's no comfort in that. So he's getting defensive. Well, what else could I say? Said Mary. I'm sorry, Pippin, but you really must wait till the morning. I'll be as curious as you like after breakfast, and I'll help in any way I can at wizard wielding.
Mm-hmm.
So wizard wheedling.
Yeah.
But yeah, he can't fake it anymore. He's got to go sleep.
He does, yeah, and
he goes quick.
He does,
and then it's just Pippin by himself
and
left to his temptation. I know, man.
Right, what to do? So the guards aren't in view, and Gandalf is asleep. He can hear everyone.
And I love this line: "The thought of the dark globe seemed to grow stronger as all grew quiet." The silence does not help.
At what point do we have that to answer your question?
Mm-hmm. You want to talk about this now?
Because we're getting. I mean, we're basically at the point where we're right there. We're about to go. We're made the choice here to go.
Right.
Or did we make the choice?
Right.
So what's your question?
I don't know. My question is because I'm reading this and I'm thinking to myself, this is my cool connection. Mm-hmm. I was thinking to myself, did I miss something with the Palantír?
Mm-hmm.
Is there some sort of not the same power as, but something akin to that lure the ring seems to have, that controlling lure that I didn't know about, that I didn't read about, or that I've forgotten about? you know?
Yeah.
And then I thought, well, maybe. And then I looked into it, and there doesn't seem to be any kind of, I mean, they're magical objects, obviously. They're used for communication. You have to be very strong to use it in a proper way.
Okay.
Otherwise, it can kind of have its way with you. So that was my thing. Is this thing drawing him to it, or is it the took inside of him that's just like I don't know. It's eating away at him. That is this, the pull to an adventure, the inquisitiveness, to use Mary's term, is that what's driving him? So is it coming from within, his DNA, or is it coming from this object pulling him closer in? Or is it both? I almost think it might be both.
Well, I mean, I think what it is, and Gandalf kind of talks about this later, is that like it's the fact that he actually touched it. So that to me
got a
was,
taste of it.
Yeah, that because there is almost like a.
But so did Grima.
Yeah,
and he threw it.
Right.
So I almost wonder if it's both those things working together. You know what I mean? Who he is as a person, because he does get in a lot of trouble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, like you're saying, I think sort of when you touch the Seeing Stone, it's sort of like it's activated. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and it's sort of like all of a sudden it's working on you. I do think it's working on you a little bit. Or there's part of the way like
it's
when
kind of interesting though, isn't it? Because there's no real
no right. There's
no answer.
I would love to hear what other folks think about about this, because Pippin talks about what he sees in the globe, right?
Yeah.
And just like it's that deep red. Remember that deep sort of like pulling
in that John Howe picture is perfect.
Yeah.
That illustration, right?
Yeah. And so that just seemed this is curiosity. He wants to know what is in there. What's something what is it? And then also Gandalf's super interested in it. But it's
that's true.
It's very interesting that Pippin notices too that like Gandalf does try to play it off nonchalant. Mm-hmm. No one else really notices it. Like, thanks, and just real quickly,
catch.
Just got it. Yeah. So he notices things.
And again, that's all his. That's like his. His took side is his.
He sees that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very interesting. So to answer that, I would kind of say it's a bit of both.
Yeah, that's kind of what I came down on.
If he never would have touched it, if Gandalf would have picked it up himself, and he never would have had the physical contact with it, I don't think he would have been drawn to it. Yeah. So put the two together, and even those few seconds or minutes or whatever it was, long enough to really attract him to it.
Well, then also, and
I don't think it's Sauron. I actually don't know that it's Sauron. I think
Sauron's
it's just
surprised when he sees who,
Yeah. I think it's more just this individual.
I did too. The
stone.
object. It's a magical object. It's a magical object, and that's very intriguing if you think about it. Good Lord. I mean, the hobbits are like fascinated by jewels. Mm-hmm. What bigger jewel than a Palantir? Mm-hmm. Like it's just it's because it's more than that. It's not just this stone. You're right. And that's really interesting that you say that. And then also the connection that he, quote unquote, saved it.
Oh.
Right? He saved it. It could have fallen down a hole or been lost or whatever. So he takes that. So not only did he touch it, but he also sees himself as, you wouldn't have this except for me.
Right.
So I'm owed a little piece.
Yep.
Where's my piece?
Yeah.
And that's very Pippin.
Sure. Yeah.
He's feisty, And these are such interesting objects too. We can get into a little bit more if you want, but like made by Feanor. You know about Feanor, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're going to talk about a little bit like this, the origins.
We can go do that later. You want to do that later? Well, you tell me when. When's a good time?
Well, I think let's
get into it first.
Yeah, and then we'll talk more about that, because it is neat to talk about where all they came from and
different
how many
sizes.
there are. Yeah.
Don't even know how many there are. That's the crazy thing.
Whether they're accounted for and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
They're interesting. Okay. So
this is good stuff, dude.
Yeah. He's driven by some impulse that he did not understand. We don't really understand it either, right?
That's right.
So Pippin walks softly, very softly, to where Gandalf lay. Looked down at him, right? Sees he's asleep, with lids not fully closed. So there's that whole, from the movie, the film. Yeah, and so he basically swaps out I mean, how does he? Gandalf's hand's not necessarily. It's not like it is in the film, like wrapped around it,
right?
Just up beside it. Feeling.
Yeah,
he has a hand next to it, but it's covered.
Yeah,
it's wrapped right in a dark cloth.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and so hardly breathing.
There's another line here too, though. You driven by some impulse he did not understand, and then again, as he gets closer to Gandalf, he steps back. You notice like his eyes aren't fully closed, so he steps back quickly. Gandalf makes no sign, thinks it's safe, and drawn forward once more, half against his will. Just battling against himself, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point.
Gosh, it's so interesting.
Right.
I'm sorry.
No. I'm glad I didn't even see that line. So that's a good one. So he's again just he's trying to steal from a wizard.
I know,
and he does.
I know,
he succeeds.
I know.
So
did Gandalf let him?
I don't know.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, I think he does recall.
Because doesn't he recalls him talking to himself?
Yeah, he does. Which I thought was like, what? How's Gandalf know that?
Do wizards ever really sleep? I don't know. I mean, that's the other thing. Is it like the elves, how they're kind of half sleeping, half awake?
Yeah.
So he finds a stone, right?
Yep. And he actually takes it. There's a good sort of bit of imagery where they talk about him almost like now. First thing he has to do is he realizes like, okay, he's got it away from Gandalf, and he's got to put something there to kind of make sure he doesn't start like feeling around the table like, where's that stone at? Like, because like I don't know, like I try not to sleep with my phone.
Yeah,
that's something I used to do. I don't do it anymore, but sometimes it's like I always kind of know where it's at in the bed. You know what I mean? If it's not there, I'm like, wait, I wake up for a second. Where is that thing? It's got my alarm. Set it on the counter. But yeah. Anyways. So maybe it's something like that. He's got to put the rock in its place. And
I always think about like
up.
when he switches it like this. I always think of Indiana Jones.
Yeah. In the Temple of
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
That's what I meant.
And he switches the idol for the sack of sand or whatever. It's the same kind of thing, man.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So
switcherooski.
What else here? Yes, he's got the bundle down there. He stood for a moment, clasping it. That's when he gets the stone. He found the launch stone and came back. There we go. All right, so he hurries away, and at that moment, Gandalf moved in his sleep, right? He muttered some words. They seemed to be in a strange tongue.
Yeah.
His hand groped out and clashed the wrapped stone.
Yeah.
Then he sighed and did not move again.
Yeah.
All right, so Pippin knows what he's doing.
So I almost kind of wonder if he, I don't know.
So right here,
did he wake up there?
So right here is where Pippin, right after he touches that stone.
Idiotic fool.
And you almost wonder, as you say, Gandalf sometimes lets things play out.
Yes, he does.
For some
he lets Saruman talk.
Higher reason.
Right.
That he doesn't really.
Right.
Something's going on here. You know.
He's Gandalf is, if you think about it, it's amazing. He gets the reputation for being meddling, but we see him time and time again trusting. I don't know, the higher powers, trusting what we would call like the universe, trusting God, whatever, to
that things are kind of
they're going to happen the way they should. If he only steps back and let that's as hard as anything. We know that, right? It's easy to go meddle. It's hard to step back and go, all right, it's going to happen. It's going to be fine. I'll be here if stuff goes bad.
Yeah. So this bit here that I kind of like is the imagery of him. He bent low over the stone, so he takes it and he kind of hides behind a rock, right? And he's looking like a greedy child stooping over a bowl of food.
Little kid doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
And so there came a faint glow and a stir in the heart as he looks into it, right? So at first it's just this dark jet black, looking stone with a moonlight gleaming on its surface. And it held his eyes so that now he could not look away. So there's that sort of can't look away, right?
Yeah.
Soon all inside seemed on fire. The ball was spinning, or the lights within were revolving. Suddenly the lights went out. He gave a gasp and struggled, but he remained bent, clasping the ball with both hands. Closer and closer he bent, and then became rigid. His lips moved soundlessly for a while. Then with a strangled cry, he fell back and lay still. The cry was piercing, and this brings the guards.
So what did you think about this description as opposed to what's in the film?
Well, I think in the film they try to show us simultaneously. There's a quick little. They try to do both. You know what I'm saying? Like they show us him struggling with it.
Right.
And
see, and to me it seems like the way that was written in the book, it's like it's drawing him in. Right? He's drawing, and it's not like this. In the book, it's all this convulsive, or in the movie, it's this big convulsion. He's screaming.
Yeah.
You know, this is scarier to me. This is like a possession almost. Like he's like sitting there closer to it. He's moving his lips and nothing are coming out. Nothing is coming out. And then this huge violent reaction, which wakes everyone up.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that kind of, it's almost scarier, I think.
Well,
in a way, yeah.
Well, and we'll talk here in a little bit. What if Sauron didn't want to release him? You know what I mean? Like how firm was his grip on this? I mean, he basically sends him back to Saruman to kind of like send a message to him, you know?
Right.
How long could he have kept him there?
Right. It's a great question.
You know,
it's a great question.
Seems like there is some, because basically he entrapped Saruman with the Palantir. Yeah. Right. I mean, that's sort of what happened.
Yeah. Saruman looked too far.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but yeah, this brings the guards, right? You know, and so it's, I mean, again, he was telling himself he shouldn't do it. Not in a good situation here with Gandalf. Definitely in trouble, my friend. He's gonna have to go stand in the corner or what have you. I don't know what the punishment is. Timeout, whatever it may be. But yeah.
But the Pippin's still feeling these effects, man. He's like out. He's out of it.
Yeah, and that's where, you know, Gandalf is he's ticked, he's pissed at him, right? But then he kind of sees it as he has these unseeing eyes staring up at the sky.
Yeah.
And the devilry.
Right.
What mischief has he done?
Yep.
To himself and to all of us.
Yeah.
The wizard's face was drawn and haggard. And then he takes his hand and he tries to, speak to him, bring him back, and he does. He comes back, he's kind of shuddering. And the first thing he cries out, it's not for you, Saruman.
Not his words.
Yeah, right? In a shrill, toneless voice, shrieking away from Gandalf. That was the message he was commanded to give to him, right? Right. First wizard he sees, he shouts it out.
It's like, and it is. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
Yeah,
but a message and almost like dude, it's like possession almost. It's weird, bizarre.
Yeah. Oh. But poor guy, man. He's once Gandalf tells him to come back, he does come back, right? Which I think is cool. By the way,
could we play that from song right now?
Small
come back
thing.
To me.
Yeah, I mean,
come back. And his voice changes too, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Held him gently and firmly, so that's interesting to think about too.
Gandalf saying "come back" and he does.
Right? Yeah.
Gandalf
that's sure.
Says
word of command.
Staff break, it breaks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah. So he says, "Forgive me, though." Right?
And first thing he says.
What have I done? I took the ball and I looked at it. I saw things that frightened me.
Yeah.
And so
us too.
Yeah. So, but he doesn't really. He says, "That's all I remember." And Gandalf's like, "That is not it.
Yeah,
I know better.
So do you think it takes Gandalf's plumbing for him to recall, or do you think is he like so shocked by it that he kind of has forgotten, or does he not want to talk about it?
I just don't think he wants to talk about it. Yeah. I think he's just, it's just kind of, that's it. We're done.
Talk about embarrassing too, right? I mean, that'd be the ultimate embarrassment.
Mm-hmm.
You did something you weren't supposed to do, and you were just being talked to by Sauron.
Yeah, this is one of those things where I don't really mind what they did in the movie with the whole bit about, like, he didn't betray Frodo in the ring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That was more of a, they don't even tell you. This fast forward through the conversation that really takes place. You don't really know.
It's well done
Pippin,
it's well done.
Yeah, I think it's almost.
We hear about it from Gandalf, like Gandalf relays what he said,
Yeah, it's almost not better, but it's just different, and I like it, because it shows like him looking out for his friend.
See, I think
and withholding something.
Yeah.
The power to withhold something from Sauron, like under questioning,
And I love that. I love that they can work together too, because we can come in here and we can get more details of like how Sauron made Pippin feel. Because that was the part I read, and I my hair stood on end.
Mm-hmm.
Like I felt tingly. I mean, is this the most direct interaction we've had with Sauron so far?
Yeah,
it really is, isn't it? I mean, this is the first character who's seen him, talked to him. This is like big. This is a big deal.
Yeah, and it's a halfling.
And it's frightening. Like the very fact that Sauron looks in at first and doesn't. He thinks it's Saruman talking to him. Why have you been away so long?
Right. Yeah.
And it's just like, oh God, like he doesn't even recognize. Wait until he finds out this is Pippin. Ah.
Right. Yeah.
Like it's suspenseful, even though we're living it. It's a flashback. like
yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't really think about that, but this is one of the the big significant, like, you get to see the enemy.
Like a character
you
reveal
interact
almost.
with the with the enemy.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah. But I also like too that, like, it shows you sort of like just how they underestimate hobbits.
Oh yeah.
And just the oversight here in the enemy. And if he would have questioned him more, basically Gandalf says he could not have resisted if he would have put you to the question.
Right.
So that makes me...
That's true. That's true.
He says that. So that's why I kind of like what the film does with that. Like, he's honest,
right?
But he did not betray, any of their plan or their mission.
Yeah.
Well, really, in the book, he didn't have the chance.
Right.
I mean, that was never even...
Right, Sauron let him go.
Yeah, because he thought that he had the Hobbit captured.
Had him locked down.
So, cool, we're heading there, and we're going to come get him.
Dude, you're right, man. And that really, if you think about it, that is the biggest... that is Sauron's biggest downfall, is he underestimates things that should not be underestimated. Right. His arrogance, in the same way, Saruman, that was his downfall. It must be a family trait. Sauron, it's his Achilles heel as well.
Right. Gotcha.
We're going 3 hours. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we're going 3 hours, so we're going to speed through this.
It's cool. It's cool.
If you just heard me flipping through the pages. No, but, really, we're stopping at some pretty good, I think, important conversations, just about...
I'm getting lost in it with you, brother.
I am.
Love it.
I really
I feel
am.
like I'm in the Palantir. I don't know what's coming next. It's great.
But to me, it's just... I don't know, the way it works out, that, like, clear back to Wormtongue throwing it out versus like it could have gone down so many different ways, and it goes down this way.
It's the
I don't know.
Yeah, it's another one of those nuggets that just shows that fate has a huge part to play in this.
Yeah,
destiny, some higher power working, and then Gandalf trusting that power.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, real quickly, I'm just going to read the description. So he says that he saw a dark sky, tall battlements, and tiny stars. It seemed very far away and long ago. That's interesting. Very far away and long ago, yet hard and clear. Then stars went in and out. They were cut off by things like wings, very big, I think, really. But in the glass, they looked like bats, wheeling round the tower. I thought there were 9 of them. One began to fly straight towards me, getting bigger and bigger. It had a horrible... No, I can't say. So he's describing what he's seeing, right? Then you get the questioning, right? So you have come back. Why have you neglected to report so long? I did not answer. He said, "Who are you?" Right, and then he really focuses his gaze on Pippin, and he just answers, "A hobbit."
Just frightening, dude.
A hobbit.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because the words that were said by Gollum were Shire Baggins, right? Right. So maybe not as much connection. I don't know. How much does Sauron know? Or
right.
I don't know. Just little connection there.
And also, like, just the little parts he put in here, I still did not answer, but it hurt me horribly, and he pressed me. Like, how did he press him? Like, that's just his power coming. You know what I mean? It wasn't through words in that moment. You know what I mean? Just like his power is working. So it's crazy to think of if you have a phone, right? I mean, that's the closest thing we have to a Palantir, folks, is FaceTime and a phone. Someone can't impose their will through you, or impose their will on you through that device. You know what I mean? This is him. The way I take this is him working his power through that connection. Like, that is crazy. Frightening. It's frightening. No wonder, like, a select few knew about these. A select few were able to use these, and even fewer were able to use them the right way and well.
Right.
Dangerous thing.
Yeah.
Dangerous thing, man.
Absolutely. So just to finish this conversation here a little quicker, I mean, really what you get out of it is that Gandalf realizes that Pippin's been honest and the telling of this, and he talks about just basically the message was, he says, to tell Saruman that this dainty is not for him. I will send for it at once. Do you understand? Say just that. Then he gloated over me. I felt like I was falling to pieces. No, I can't say it anymore. I don't remember anything else. Gandalf assesses that and says that, he's a fool, but he is an honest fool. And so, So he lifts Pippin and carries him back to bed. What's he say? This is where you get the itch, right? So let's see. It says, he lifted Pippin up gently, carried him back to his bed. Merry followed and sat down beside him. Lie there and rest if you can, Pippin, said Gandalf. Trust me, if you feel an itch in your palms again, tell me of it. Such things can be cured. And so he's able to kind of get a bit of sleep. Well, start to anyways. There. So Gandalf returns back to the others, kind of talks to them. And the next little bit here is just Aragorn sort of talking about the Palantir, right? And its origin and just how it had come from the treasury of Elendil and how it, had come back to him. It's given to Aragorn, put in his hands, and under his charge.
You got to help me. I'm getting stuck in all these details, bro.
I know, man. I'm trying not to. It's crazy. There's a lot in this chapter, surprisingly. God,
there's so many things.
I know, there's so much, dude. We're never gonna get it done, but so it's entrusted to Aragorn, right? So, oh goodness. Let's move on a bit.
One quick. I won't spend real long.
Oh, of course not.
A cool connection I made. Or that, I was reading came to me. He wanted you quickly so that he could deal with you in the Dark Tower slowly. Don't shudder. If you meddle in the affairs of wizards, you must be prepared to think of such things. And it's interesting because meddle in the affair of wizards, that's Gandalf and Saruman.
Yep.
They're both wizards.
Well,
this isn't like him just meddling in Gandalf's affairs. This is Saruman's doing as well.
Yeah. Well, it's also the idea too that like they've been wanting to meddle in the affairs. They've been saying that they already are, and they're getting more.
This is your consequence.
So now, basically, you've got to think about these things now. If we're really going to play this game, then there's a lot of serious stuff to kind of consider and outcomes that are not so friendly. Yeah. So now Gandalf just sort of talks more about just like we now understand this is the connection between Mordor.
That was
and
the big mystery, wasn't it? Right.
Mm-hmm. This is how they've been communicating, these seeing stones, and how they've been communicating. So
and also the question now is like how much was communicated.
Mm-hmm.
What all was said. Like what did Saruman withhold stuff? What did he withhold? Like it's just crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly he hadn't told him about the Hobbit mission, or any of that the Hobbits had been lost. Obviously, he's not going to tell them they're lost. Mm-hmm. Saruman was very careful with what he told.
Oh yeah, he's got his own.
Can you imagine those interactions?
No, I can't. That would be awesome to have seen.
Like how exhausted I think they did it perfectly in the films because they show Christopher Lee. What is the eye? Or he's like, talking to Saruman. He says, "Build me an army worthy of Mordor," and then you see him just kind of sitting like hunkered over.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah,
exhausted,
and
maybe conflicted too,
contemplating what was going on. Like, ooh, can I do this?
I mean, withholding information from the Dark Lord. That's wow. Even for a wizard, that'd be tough. Mm-hmm. And Gandalf is thankful that he doesn't have to,
doesn't
have to have that challenge himself.
He does not want himself to be revealed either. So that was a big bit. So anyways, so they kind of decide that there really is not as much time as they thought. Is this where the shadow shows up? Is this where the Nazgul
first Gandalf gives to the amazement of everyone, gives the Palantir to Aragorn. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Did we talk about that already?
Yeah, we did just a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So he gives it to Aragorn, and that's where I said Aragorn kind of talks about a little bit of its history just a little bit, and then So from there, I mean, it's sort of like the king is talking about where is the enemy. It is clear thought that the stone was in Orthanc. Why should he not? And so it's this doubt. That's what it was. There's this doubt. There's this there's a time still to strike. There's uncertainty on both sides.
He's trying to convince Aragorn that now's not the time to reveal everything.
Exactly, not everything, right? Because Mordor is still in sort of the dark. Yeah. And right now they're going to possibly they might focus their attention on Isengard, and honestly, Saruman, if he stays there, is actually going to be sitting okay. Right. Sitting okay. They can't. He really kind of says like there is no way of penetrating it really, So, anyways, now this is the moment when the shadow fell, right? So you get the Nazgul that kind of shows up on this kind of like a black cloud, right? Shows up.
These things fly pretty quickly too. Don't they?
Yeah.
I guess it was probably just on the Anduin, kind of waiting.
I mean, this scares the crap out of people. Gandalf says, "All right, well, it's time to." This
is what sets it off.
It accelerates everything. Yep. So we just had this little episode here with the Palantir. Now we've got a Black Rider again back. the Nazgul are here, and so he decides to take Pippin with him and take Shadowfax and to ride on.
Show you his stride.
Yeah, and he tells the others to kind of like, to not wait, to as soon as you can leave, because the Nazgul have crossed over.
Yeah.
So, which they weren't doing before. Remember, I mean they
had that boundary set on. Yeah.
and now they've crossed. So,
and again, maybe kind of accelerating those forces, or being an impetus to them until they, before they were actually ready to strike. In a way, we talked about that before, how they, like Saruman wasn't totally ready, and his hand was kind of forced by Gandalf coming and spurring on Rohan.
Yeah.
Again, misinformation is pushing Sauron to attack sooner than maybe he should have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just kind of interesting.
Right. Yeah,
that
sure.
Hastiness for them is not going to work out in the long run. You know?
Right. I thought this was kind of funny, Merry being, he was really trying to get his sleep, and he fell asleep pretty quick, right? But things aren't, he's not getting that beautiful rest that he wanted. So he can ask words with Aragorn about that. Yeah. And but so he's riding with Aragorn, and Pippin is with Gandalf on Shadowfax. Yeah. So, and there's a cool little bit here. They talk about just the fords of Isen. Just so they're heading there in less than an hour. And they're on Shadowfax, and I thought there was a bit too where they talked about how fast he was going.
There is.
Pippin kind of talks about wanting to know almost how fast he's going, and really he's
running now as fast as the swiftest horse could gallop, but he is not. It's not fast even for him.
Right.
Yeah.
So how much faster is he? You know what I'm saying? So it's like we're going really fast, but yet this is nothing for.
I think at the very end there's a really cool description of it.
Yep, there is. Yeah. So. Pippin was silent for a while. He heard Gandalf singing. So they're on the back of, Shadowfax together, and Gandalf is sort of talking to him about the seriousness of this and why they need to, press on, how long it's going to be. And he hears Gandalf singing softly to himself, murmuring brief snatches of a rhyme in many tongues. And as they, it's actually about the Palantir, isn't it? Correct.
Yeah.
So it's tall ships and tall kings, 3 times 3. What brought they from the foundered land over the flowing sea, 7 stars and 7 stones and 1 white tree.
Yep.
So we'll talk about the history here at the end, but he kind of talks about what
he does. He goes into it a little bit here himself.
Yeah. Yeah. What does he say about that here? Is there anything we should pull out right now?
Yeah, I mean, he just talks about, the name of the Palantir. It means that which looks far away. He says, the Orthanc stone, the one that we had, was one of these. Pippin asks about how they were made. Were they made by the enemy? Gandalf says, no, nor by Saruman. It is beyond his art and beyond Sauron's, too. The Palantir came from beyond Westerness, from Eldamar. The Noldor made them, Fëanor himself, maybe, wrought them in days so long ago that the time cannot be measured in years. But there is nothing that Sauron cannot turn to evil uses. Alas, for Saruman, it was his downfall, as I now perceive. Perilous to us all are the devices of an art deeper than we possess ourselves. Yeah, interesting, man. His quotes. So he didn't. He had this Palantir, but he never even let the White Council know. He kept it a secret, and it was a secret known to only a few. Even in Gondor, they were, kept under wraps, almost forgotten by men that they even existed. In Arnor, they were remembered only in a rhyme of lore among the Dunedain. So Pippin asks, what do they use them for? He's delighted and astonished to get such answers out of Gandalf. Right now he's getting all this information to see far off and to converse in thought with one another. So interesting. I was reading about these, and even the orientation of the stone was important. Mm-hmm. Like you could have it upside down and be looking through, and it would look wrong.
Oh wow!
When you had it, and that's a lot of times why they were set on a static position, like on a table or in a bowl or something, and depending on which way you faced, that's the way you would look.
Gotcha.
And to communicate with someone, in the east.
Oh wow! I see. Yeah.
You were on the west and looked east. It was just they're really interesting when you look into them. We probably don't have time to go into all of it, but they're crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he goes into where they all were, set up stones of Minas Anor and Minas Ithil and at Orthanc in the Ring of Isengard. Chief and master of these was under the dome of the stars of Osgiliath before its ruin, and that one was so big, like one man on his own couldn't carry it. So they even came in different sizes too, which is really interesting. At Anuminas, Amansul, and Elendil Stone was on the tower hills that look towards Mithlond in the Gulf of Lune, where the gray ships lie. Each Palantir applied to each, but all those in Gondor were ever open to the view of Osgiliath. So, great details here.
And I'm just looking up on Tolkien Gateway, just some of the bits here about, as we mentioned, they're making Fëanor kind of, like making them, and then Elendil. You were talking about Numenor and how Elendil took 7 of them with him in his flight to Middle Earth.
Yeah.
So that's pretty neat. And then there were 3 kept up in Arnor, and then 4 in Gondor.
They were a way for them to communicate, essentially, right?
That's awesome.
It was the way they kind of could rule a vast area, the north and the south, and be able to communicate with each other. And yeah, man, it's great. So really, what I'm, the way the Palantir are, it's like it's all in your usage of them. Mm-hmm. If you use them for good, you can use them for good. Yeah. If your intent is evil, then you can do some crazy things with them.
Well, and I wonder if, like Sauron, because of his, or like maybe even wizards, like if they're able to influence people, if that seeing stone allows access to that person, can they influence them across that great distance just because they have the stone? So that's where I was kind of wondering, like, what was holding Pippin?
It's got to be his power. There. Well, and they talk about the power you have to wield this, to see, and then to what level you can communicate. It's crazy, guys. There's all kinds of information. And we learned that, the one that Sauron has, Gandalf guesses, was the Ithil stone, which he took from Minas Ithil, which is now Minas Morgul. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he stole that one. And that's how he has access to one. And just talking about how, from Barad-dûr, he was able to connect with the Orthanc stone, and how it was, Saruman was drawn to Orthanc in the first place because he heard that the Palantir was still there. Yeah. And, he looked to the east, and he looked too far, and he kind of was ensnared by Sauron, really.
I'm sure we could talk to Phil and some other folks who know just a tidbit more about this than maybe I do. But it seems like, just from my reading here, that like there's the idea of a Master Stone. Then there was one over in Aman and one in Middle Earth. Yes. Like the lesser of the Master Stones. It seems like that's what Sauron got from Osgiliath.
Maybe. Did you read the bit that the one in Aman, though, there was no connection? Like they couldn't see what was going on in Middle Earth. Isn't that crazy? I think I read that. Okay. I could be wrong.
Well, and this is, so what I'm reading here too is also like the idea that, let's see, there was a Master Stone.
Go look this up though, guys.
It's actually really cool interesting stuff. There was a Master Stone of Middle Earth, the Palantir of Osgiliath, but this was a lesser stone than that of the Master Stone over in the far west. Okay. Right. Having power only over the other Palantiri in Middle Earth. So I think that is the idea, is that that's the one that, being close there to Mordor, that Sauron actually gets access to.
The one on Osgiliath?
Is that wrong?
That one falls in. I think that falls into the end when,
that does?
When it's taken, yeah. He got the one from Minas Ithil.
He
is
did.
What Gandalf is supposing.
So then it wouldn't really... Okay, so he's just using his own...
I guess it's just
sorcery to kind of... Oh, wow. Interesting. And what does it mean, though, to have,
Dude, isn't this awesome? These are awesome.
It's great. Having power over the other Palantiri. What does that mean?
I don't know, dude.
To have power. So we got to go look all that up. I think that's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
So
it's a cool mystery. And also, it's kind of cool that it's unknown how many were we know the ones that came to Middle Earth, I guess. But it's unknown how many there were that Fëanor created.
Total. There's,
yeah. And how most of them had been lost. That was another concept I'm sure we mentioned because we've been talking a lot about it. But most of them, and to the general knowledge of a lot of people, they don't even know they exist. They don't even know they exist, man. Like I said, it's like if Verizon was the only cell phone company and there were like 5 of them.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. Well, let's move on, because I think that kind of covers most of the history we have time for. We can maybe get a bit more as we reflect, or just as it
post
comes
stuff
up
in the group too. Post stuff that you go research or already. And
the cool connections are what I like. The interesting sort of connections about the various stones.
Yeah.
So at least and the distinction between the ones that are Middle Earth. Specifically the 7.
Yeah.
So. Okay, so let's move on to where Pippin kind of says, if I would have known all of this, I would have had no notion of what I was. I had no notion of what I was doing, And he says, "Oh yes, you had."
Yeah, you did.
Gandalf says, "Yes, you did. You knew you were behaving wrongly and foolishly, and you told yourself so, though you did not listen. I did not tell you all this before, because it is only a musing on all that has happened that I have at last understood, even as we ride together." So he's learning, he's unraveling this mystery, as we go here. And so, Pippin finally says that, as you said before, if the 7 stones were lit up before him, he wouldn't look at him, nor would he touch him.
Right.
So,
and Gandalf also says, if I would have told you, you still would have done it, and that the burned hand teaches best.
That's right. Yeah.
So again, like his knowledge that, maybe Pippin is going to do this, I'll let him do it anyway, and he'll learn for himself.
Yeah. So now this is where you get into the badgering of Gandalf, right? So there's all this, questioning, right? So we ask Gandalf 1,000 questions. It's not 20 questions with Pippin. It's 1,000, right? And and Gandalf is kind of like, what else do you want to know? I mean,
mercy.
Good grief,
Yeah.
So they go on a bunch about the messengers of Mordor. They want to know more about those.
The Nazgul, are back.
They talk about the Nazgul a bit. So we can kind of move through some of that. I like the bit here. Sauron will only believe that he is withholding the captive and refusing to use the stone. So talking back about what Saruman is doing, or what he believes. So basically how inadvertently this has helped them in a way, right? That Sauron will believe that Saruman is withholding the stone, refusing to use the stone, and withholding the captive that he has.
Right. And Sauron assuming that maybe that's him trying to keep the ring.
Yeah, exactly. Right, yeah. So he'll send his forces against him if he has to, and that could actually buy them some time to
fight against each other.
Well, yeah, and actually, I mean, in the end, send those forces out so Frodo can do what he has to do.
Yeah.
So, all right. And they were also hoping, this is the next couple paragraphs as well, talk about Gandalf not wanting to be revealed, Aragorn not wanting to be revealed, the fact that they don't have that Palantir, Wormtongue can't convey, what he knows about Aragorn and who's in Gandalf's company.
Or that Rohan is back as a force again, strong again.
Yes. All of those things are kept in the dark from Sauron, which is when I say air quote dark. So yeah, that's all good stuff, right?
Yeah.
I think that kind of gets us there to almost the end.
We're right there. Now it's more about where they're going.
Just where they're headed, because we get a little surprise here that they're actually not stopping at Edoras. They're actually going straight on to Minas Tirith.
That's right.
And so I think that's a bit of a shock. I mean, they talk about the glittering caves there for a bit, and how Gimli would love to show them around there for a while, and the deepening coombe.
That's right, the coombe.
So, but yeah, and actually Shadowfax is able to pick up speed. They get to a point where he's going to have to rest a little bit, though. Once they get to that point, then they'll rest, and they'll just kind of keep moving on. They have many leagues ahead. So.
I love it too. Is it here or was it earlier? Like, Shadowfax gains speed because he's running through the land where he was foaled.
Yes.
And every stone he knows, run now, hope is in our speed.
That's right.
And I love this little bit. Shadowfax tossed his head and cried aloud as if a trumpet had summoned him to battle. Then he sprang forward. Fire flew from his feet. Night rushed over him.
Yeah.
And this is that description. This is the very end. So
Pippin.
I don't know if we're ready for this, but as he fell slowly into sleep, Pippin had a strange feeling. He and Gandalf were still as stone, seated upon the statue of a running horse, while the world rolled away beneath his feet with a great noise of wind.
Yeah.
So powerful, man. Like you think about that is quite a way to leave us with that group before we eventually pick back up and return to the king. We won't see them again until, book 5. but we know where they're going. We know kind of what we're up against, sort of, and the pieces are moving, right?
Mm-hmm.
And another interesting thing about the Palantír as well, or the Palantír, I guess, is that it's just another way that Sauron has taken something that was crafted, in Valinor, crafted to be made as a beautiful form of communication and unity and unison, and how he's taken it and corrupted it and brought discord.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
And division and perverted it and destroyed something that was beautiful.
Right.
Yeah.
Man, I'm just looking up the actual description here of some of these stones.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, and so when I mentioned the Master Stone earlier, the way, at least on Tolkien Gateway, it describes there being one in both lands, Aman and Middle Earth.
Yeah,
and that large Osgiliath stone is sort of that chief among the other stones. Yeah. And you're right, the Ithil stone is the one that was captured by
Sauron.
By the Nazgul, and Sauron uses it. So
and it goes into oh gosh, sorry. Yeah, down below, right, where it has the stones sort of named, and then kind of what happened to them. Like, it tells even where they're supposed to have disappeared, like either in the Anduin or in the sea and frozen over. And it's awesome. It's awesome to go back and read that history. Yeah.
I love too, on the Gateway, it even has like the etymology, Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah. Like Farseer, There's just cool stuff. Really, really neat stuff. So, yes, did you have any other cool connections besides just these?
That's about it, man.
Okay.
I wish that was like...
We could read more to you guys about this. I mean, I think it's something... It's going to take a little bit there's a cool timeline and everything, as to when these things were used, and there's a lot of cool stuff just back in the Silmarillion. All the references are here for.
This is one of those frustrating chapters because it's short, right? Mm-hmm. It's like one of our shorter chapters that we've had recently, but there's so much in it. I feel like we just kind of scratched the surface.
I know, and I wish we could have done a little bit more and dug a little deeper, but that's
that's our part of the conversation, and everyone else can fill in the gaps.
Absolutely,
and continue that conversation. And
100%, it wouldn't be a club if we didn't have that.
That's right.
For sure.
That's right.
So wow, I think we're both starting to lose our voices.
Getting a little ragged.
I don't know. I mean, get
off the gray in our throat.
Good
if you know what I mean.
Grief.
Jeez, boy,
man.
I told you I needed more coffee.
Yeah, you did.
Woo.
You did. All right, friends. So
that was awesome.
Here we go. Time for Bywater Post, right?
Yeah.
Are you ready for this?
I think so.
I think I'm ready too.
You gonna read this one?
Yes. This is from.
This is Joey.
Yeah, Joey Stottleman. And so we know his younger sister Bev pretty well. So he says, "Hey guys, I love the podcast ever since my younger sister introduced me to it, and I wanted to share my Tolkien story with you. I heard Bev's Tolkien story in one of your first episodes, where she talked about her first." How she first heard her older brother read it to Mom when she was supposed to be asleep in her room upstairs. I was excited, and then heart broke when I did the math. I read The Hobbit to Mom for the first time when she was pregnant with Bev.
Wow.
If my sister heard it, she certainly wouldn't remember it. It had to have been one of my other brothers in the story. So, Joey, I don't know. Maybe she, I don't know. In the womb, things can, I don't know.
It all runs together.
Yeah, man. But at 8 years old, my mom read The Hobbit to me, and then at 9, I read it to her. When I hit junior high school, I tackled The Lord of the Rings for the first time at 12 years old. Yeah.
Wow.
That summer, when I went to visit my dad's family in Switzerland, I took the books with me. He's from a part of Switzerland that used to be called the Staddle, which in English would spell Staddle. Like the village in Breland. Wow.
Oh, that's cool.
That's pretty neat. I took my copies of The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit with me to Switzerland, and they were one of the few sets of books I brought along with me when I went to teach English in Japan years later. Wow.
That's so cool.
I was in a very small village up in the mountains, and sometimes the isolation and the homesickness would really get to me.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
I had the first hero I had ever related to, Bilbo Baggins. Wow.
That's
Bilbo Baggins. I love hearing that name right now. To help me through the worst days, whenever my adventure got hard and exhausting, I would dive back into those books. The Hobbit that Bilbo became was worth every hardship he faced on his adventure, and it made me continue with mine. Tolkien taught me early on that going through things that are lonely and tough make you into the best version of yourself, and you see that throughout these books. I hadn't read my copies in 10 years since I got back, and then Bev told me about your podcast. I dug out my old worn copies.
Dust them off, boy.
Yeah. Now held together with generous application of masking tape, and it's hard to read them along with you guys. Or it's great to read them along with you guys and with my little sister. So thanks for everything you're doing.
So cool.
Looking forward to the days where we cycle around to the very best Tolkien book, there and back again.
Woo!
Yeah. Thanks, Joey Stottleman.
Joey, that's awesome, man. We got to meet Joey now.
We do. We've met Bev, and
she's amazing.
She talked about you, Joey. Actually, we were talking. I think we did just a little bit of a chit chat with her, and
I was blown away by Bev.
Wonderful human being.
She's an amazing human.
Wonderful human being, and
we were there. It was at
Potter Fest?
Wizardly World of Canada.
Wizardly World. Yeah,
you can't say that. You get charged every time.
Okay, sorry.
And we're there to spread the good world of I can't talk. Good word of Swish and Flick.
Sure.
And that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
And every chance she could, she said, these guys also.
Yeah.
She
was great.
Are in a book club.
Yeah.
Called An Unexpected Podcast. If you like Lord of the Rings, you should check it out. I was like, man.
Because
I get uncomfortable doing that kind of stuff. We were there to help them, but she was pushing our beautiful book club.
Absolutely fantastic.
And,
as I said, wonderful person.
Yeah.
And Joey, she talked a lot about you.
Yeah,
so
man.
it was really kind of cool to hear about you and to hear that you were in our book club.
Yeah.
Kind of moving along with this. And I'm glad the books are back out with the masking tape. So.
I want to hear more about the Staddle.
Yeah, really.
And
that's cool. That's really cool.
I'm envisioning that isolated Japanese village on a mountaintop, man.
Yeah, man. Made me think of what's the movie? The Last Samurai.
Oh, there you go.
I love that movie.
Makes me think of like the beacons. Was there a beacon up there that you had to light, man? You had to guard?
That'd be cool, too. Yeah.
For the Minas Tirith beacons to be lit? I don't know. That's crazy.
We need them to be lit soon.
Yeah.
My friend.
Let's get it out.
So,
let's do some strawberries with cream.
I think we should do it. Yeah.
I think we should. If given the chance to peer in one of the Palantír, would you? Which direction would you look, and with whom would you try to communicate?
Oh, boy. I don't even know. So, okay.
Did you read your response?
Oh my gosh. Snapchat with Galadriel. I don't know. I don't know if I got a thing. I don't know. Galadriel. I don't know.
Okay, Gimli.
No, I'm just saying. I don't, anyways, I don't know. So
it was just a joke.
Oh, it's just a joke. Okay. Well, what? So is this in the world of Middle Earth, or is this like anywhere modern day right now?
I don't know.
I say modern day.
Well, why would we need Palantir? We have cell phones.
Dude, you can do far more with this.
Can you?
With the Palantir?
Depends on your power.
You can see wherever you want. You know where I would want to see?
Where?
There's stuff going on down there in Antarctica. All right?
Oh, my God, dude.
There's something going on down there. More landmass down there than anywhere else. All right? So
I don't even think it's frozen.
What's going on down there?
I think it's all just true.
It's a hoax. Absolute hoax.
There's a Nazi base there.
I hope not.
Aliens. There's aliens.
Aliens is what I was
Those are all
thinking.
the conspiracy theories.
Yeah, they might. Yeah, sure. So, I would look far there and communicate. Who would I communicate with?
That's why I asked you. I don't know.
Like anybody?
Yeah, strawberries with cream is hypothetical. You can I take
it serious. I take it serious. Are we talking? Can I do two, like Middle Earth, and then just like
Sure, across the world,
around the world? I would probably just try to settle in on. I wonder if you could use the Palantir like sort of like a mirror on the wall type of thing. Show me,
Dude, someone posted a theory on our Facebook that is one of the Palantir lost, quote unquote, in the mirror of Galadriel. Is that bowl deep enough that there's a Palantir down there?
Wow.
And that's why you can see stuff.
What?
That's kind of wild,
cool.
isn't it?
That's pretty cool, actually. Yeah. It's cool to think about.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Did I answer the question?
No.
No, I was saying if it's like a mirror on the wall, like
Yeah.
I
Who
could
are you
maybe
going to
just
talk to?
Oh, I'm saying it could be someone
Yourself.
random. No, I could ask it like, show me,
Oh, yeah.
The most powerful person in the world, or
like,
the most
like
humble
the
person in
Beast's
the world,
mirror
or the
in,
most
in Beauty and the Beast.
yeah.
Show me my father.
Yeah, something like that.
I think if I'm out on an adventure,
Show me Mrs. Kirk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Where is she? Get me there.
That's what I'm saying.
I think that's pretty cool.
That'd be kind of crazy, right?
I think I probably look back at the Shire. Wow. If I'm out on an adventure like this, and I'm like, man, I could just look. I want to. What's going on there?
Mm-hmm.
Are the trees still up? Have they been cut down?
Right.
Are my friends enslaved? Is the Shire safe?
That's a good one. Yeah. It's better than mine.
I liked yours.
No,
Where
it's
is
cool.
Mrs. Kirk?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
The future Mrs. Kirk.
Finally got there. So
the River Daughter.
Yeah. What about it?
Huh?
No, we're good.
What did you say?
Nothing. I didn't say anything. Time is it what time for share the load or what?
Yeah, I got an idea for that.
Okay, good.
Time to share the load.
That's what I'm talking about. Why don't you share it with me?
My head's itchy. Share the load. We could have gone another half an hour.
We could have got another half hour. Why did you try to speed me through this through the chapter?
I was stuck in those details, baby.
Dude, I wanted to stay there for a lot longer.
Just nestled
But,
down in.
I looked up and I saw
sucked in
you.
those Palantír.
Yeah, something kind of, No, my friends, we had a great actually Discord discussion right beforehand with.
We did.
Yeah, we're spilling some tea, and the next couple of weeks here, as we get into the new year as well, we're going to have some of those friends on our appendices with us and sort of our pre-show stuff there. So just head on over to patreon.com/UpTalkingTolkien. Even if you hop in the, I think the lowest one to get into the Discord chat is just $5. So there's a lot of rewards in the $5 tier. That's just, and if you just want to support, that'd be great too. We've got plans coming up to kind of travel and to do some meetups and get the studio going. Yeah. So we would really, any help you guys can give us there would be greatly appreciated. And I also want to make one quick mention. We have such good, everyone in the book club is just fantastic, man. We've literally had like next to no problems at all with just, everyone's just great. Sharing good information, uplifting each other and everything. And so when you guys do go support us on Patreon and you're like, you know what? Hey, I've supported for a couple months. This is cool. I got to move on or I can't. Or
I got bills to
some
pay.
people don't even want the rewards. They just want to support us. And that's cool too. I love that. I think Mr. Wolf has been one of our first patrons and has just been doing that from the get-go. Amazing guy. And but anyways, whenever you have to leave, literally, Lane and I mean, we've got some great messages just like, hey guys, still want to interact with you guys, but I have to jump off of page. We are completely.
We understand.
Please don't ever think that you have to hop on there and stay, or we're gonna think when
I think we talked about it around Thanksgiving time that we don't expect any of that stuff. That stuff has all been the Patreon stuff has mostly. It started as a way for us to say, hey, we have extra content that we want to create.
Yeah, we were making a lot of different stuff.
Wild and crazy and goofy.
Yeah.
We like just talking to each other and coming up with crazy stuff. And wanted a place to put that, and your support is never expected. We're incredibly thankful for it because it does allow us to do some cool things, and to pay it back to you as well. To get you some cool stuff. So seriously, thank you so much. We do not take it for granted. We appreciate it so much, and we love you guys. I mean,
we really do.
This is quite a family we're building. This book club is kind of turning into a family. Yeah. It's dangerous, man.
It's dangerous.
In a good way, baby.
I love it.
Baker Mayfield, dangerous.
We were actually talking, and I'm just going to share this with you guys because we're coming to the end, like sort of the halfway point, I guess, for...
Is it, we're done?
No, I mean, just like, so in like the series, in the Lord of the Rings series, we have many more years to go. But... it's sort of like, it's kind of a dual anniversary. Like we have this episode ending. We're gearing up for a special episode that we're going to be recording here very soon. And I was talking to Lane, and it was sort of just like, we have a really, I just want to remind everyone that this literally has nothing to do with Lane and I. You guys, every single person who listens and who hops into the Facebook group and builds that page, builds that community, when the show comes out or more things happen, we are a more attractive community for those people. just so you know.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of that, and I want you guys to be proud of that too. So that's something that, like, and again, that is not a Lane and Ez thing. I mean, we literally just, I don't even know, like there's the idea. You guys said, okay, here's the wood, here's how you frame it, here's how you build it, and then we just continue working on the building. Yeah. And so it's been fantastic and something we love, and we're blown away by. But just so be proud of that. I hope that you guys are. And again, if you guys ever have something that you want to talk to us about, that we can improve or make things better, we're always willing to hear those things. Because we just love this. We love this series. We love this author and this world. Yeah. And man,
I also just love the sharing of information and how each of us have our own little area of expertise and speciality, and how we can. I think about. I have never learned so much about Middle Earth. Yeah. And that is the coolest thing. The fact that we're doing it side by side, that we're doing it with all of you, and that you're teaching us.
Educating
way
each
more
other.
than we could ever teach you. Yeah, I mean, it's like, it is mind-blowing. And then just even your own perspectives on the stories, And then I say again, our favorite part of every episode when we read someone's Tolkien story and find out how this story has impacted your life, and how the connections to your own adventure, your own journey. It's just, that is the ultimate, man. Yeah, that's something you can't plan for. That's something you can't will into being. It's just, we're all in this adventure together, and it's I don't know. It's like what we're talking about in this chapter. When Gandalf says, I think he says, good fortune. Some call it. Yeah. This is good fortune. This journey with you guys is good fortune. It has nothing to do with us. It's something bigger going on. Yeah. And so I'm honored to be a part of it with you guys. That's all. Right.
Well, it's I was thinking, I think I said this last week or whatever, and I can't even quote Master Oogway from Kung Fu Panda here, but talks about like the present being a gift, and the idea that we have each other. Yeah, like it's so. It was either last week or the week before, where I was kind of talking about the idea that, like, how amazing is it that we exist with each other right now together in this world. Wild. And we get to share these experiences and we have the potential to go interact with each other. Yeah. And I don't know. It's fantastic. Something to think about.
Nothing to take for granted, man.
Absolutely.
It's wild.
So, all right, friends. There we go. So I think we're on to weekly well wishes.
Weekly well wishes, formerly fortnight farewells. We want to thank you for, just kind of getting lost. Yeah. With us.
Getting the itchy fingers.
Oh, watch out for the rashes. Our next episode will be, jumping back in time and Taming Smeagol in chapter 1 of book 4.
About time.
It's going to be wild, guys.
Yeah.
Halfway through.
Yeah, right. If you like our podcast, don't forget to subscribe, like us, write a review, leave a comment, or send us a Shadowfax.
We'll see you in a real fortnight this time. And remember, Frodo lives. As we couldn't get through an episode without it happening. I probably, people probably thought that we were done daydreaming.
Did they
about
think
having a podcast?
Yeah, they thought we were done.
You know what? Someday, man. Someday we're gonna start one.
Yeah, we are.
But we got to get the name just right.
That's right, we do.
Got any ideas?
Nothing or Double Helping Podcast.
Ooh, I like it.
I like that one.
It's very Gandalf-y.
Yeah.
Tackle Strider podcast.
Tackle Strider.
It could be just on Aragorn.
Yeah, it could be. It actually
could. It
actually may end up being
maybe a show.
Yeah, it may. So, the Less Testy podcast.
I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but how is testy spelled? The Rhymes of Lore podcast. Yeah. That's actually not that bad. You want to change the name?
We could.
It's up to you.
I don't know. We can't start unless we have a name.
So we'll keep dreaming.
Yeah.
And we'll get there.
Yeah, we will.
Frodo Lives. That's a good one.
Frodo Lives podcast. Yeah. We're still working on it.
Keep trying.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, back in the Shire.
I am so tired from working in the fields.
I'm sleepy too.
You sound like one of my second cousins, twice removed on his mother's side. Third cousin, once removed on my father's side. Whereabouts do you live?
Well, see, friend, I'm actually from Bree.
You're joking.
I'm from Bree.
That is a queer place, I've heard.
Well, pretty queer. I heard about these hobbits over here from some friends of mine, and I've been in this here green dragon for a while, meeting new friends.
That's fascinating. What sort of tales have you heard?
Well, here in the dragon, I hear all sorts of things.
I'm game for a tale. I can't really provide any, but if you can tell me one, I'd be most entertained.
Well, we heard a tale the other day that there was...
Thank you, Rosie. Oh, that smells delicious. Not often you can smell a beer, but man, that is fantastic.
Rosie knows what she's doing.
That's a loaded statement. So on with these tales then, friend. What is your name?
My name's Bob.
Bob from Bree.
Bob from
What's an
Bree.
alliteration? That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So
Well,
tales
I
of strange hobbits?
I came here with my friend Nob.
Nob and Bob.
No, he's my yes, sir.
Are you brothers? Twins?
We're not really related, actually. No,
You're joking me.
we're kind of related, but we're really not.
Now you say you're from Bree, but you look an awful lot like a hobbit.
Well, I am a hobbit.
I didn't know there were hobbits.
There's
in Bree.
hobbits over there in Bree, along with big folk.
That's the strangest thing I've heard since Buckland.
It's pretty strange. And speaking of Buckland, we heard there's trees that move over there.
Now that is unbelievable to me.
Yes, sir.
Trees that move?
You should ask Nob about it. He was coming through, and he crossed the ferry with me, and he swore he saw one up on the bank.
Where is this knob? Where is your knob?
My friend Nob is right over there at
Oh,
the
of
bar.
course, that's what I meant. Where?
He's right over there talking to that girl Rosie.
Oh, well, I better not interrupt that. Although he should know that I think if I'm up on my dragon news and, well, quite frankly, Hobbiton news, Rosie's spoken for.
Yeah, we tried to tell him that, but he don't really seem to care.
Sounds like that's a man who truly thinks with his
His
knob.
knob, friend. He just does.
Well, he's aptly named. Bob, I want to hear more about these walking trees.
Well, we saw one over on the bank of the, what's the river over there? The Buckland River?
I don't venture near water. I won't even go by the little
We
pond
don't
thing here.
neither much, but Nob was insistent that we cross.
Thank you,
Rosie. Wow, we drinking fast.
We sure are. So, walking trees, please, as they say,
Well,
get to it.
And that's the thing. They moved either so fast or so slow that Nob nor I could determine whether they actually had moved. But it appeared as if they had moved.
And you had what to drink prior to this?
We hadn't drank anything. I didn't want to
doesn't
be.
sound right to me.
We needed all of our senses as we crossed the ferry.
Yes. Well, no, not really. I've never been on that.
Now
ferry.
hold on, friend. That's
Yeah.
me. That's me. Time to ask you some questions.
Ask away, friend.
Where did you say you were from again? Top of the hill.
That's right.
A Baggins, you said.
I am actually a distant relation of the Baggins, not direct, but it's, as they say.
What do you
it's-
know about these disappearances?
Well, I'm very concerned. I've actually come to Hobbiton to try and do my own investigations. Frodo is one of my distant uncles, I believe, which makes Bilbo one of my distant second cousins thrice removed. All I
Wow.
know is that my family disappearing is not a good thing. And I'm not in approval of Lobelia and Lotho waltzing into Bagan. I think it belongs to me.
It sure
think
don't
I'm-
belong to the Sackvilles. That's what we believe.
Well, it does now. tell that to them. They're up there living there,
There's a
drinking
lot
all
of
the wine
folks-
with all the jewels.
Listen, that do not think that they should be up there like they are. And I'm glad you're here.
Bob, you sound like you're a man of the people.
I've just been listening to what everybody's been saying in here.
You seem well loved.
Well, I do.
Drink is amply, given to you.
I do tip my barkeep real well. You know,
I'm sure Knob does as well.
he does. We even give a little bit to the dog.
Is that all you wanted to know of me?
I did want to know where you was from, and I wondered what you was doing here, but I thought you were going to say something about the disappearances. I didn't want
I
to...
had nothing to do with it, if that's what you're implying.
No, we wouldn't think that evil of you. No.
Sounds like that's where you were going with that.
No, we just,
I'm a stranger from out of town, and my family has disappeared. I
We-
know that we are no stranger to that sort of conspiracy.
Are you from North Farthing or West? Where are you from?